Shakil sir, you can start the session. Shakil sir, you can start the session.
Okay, sir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So students, this is the idea we are going to do it now. So I'm not going to take any paper to discuss with you all. Since you all have studied most of the lessons, almost you have studied and now you're almost prepared for the exam. So you have less than 10 hours, exactly 12 hours, yeah, 7:30 or 7 o'clock. Yeah. So this is a plan actually. Now the chat box is muted. We have closed the chat box. You can't write it anything because if you write it, there will be at a time hundreds of questions will be there. So I may miss the question. So I don't want to miss the question. And if I make it only the host only option, the question chat box, if you write the question, the others don't know what you are asking. So then others at a time when I respond to one child, there will be around 300 students. They will be waiting for what question he is answering. So here you all have to raise the hand. But right, so I'm not taking 40 MCQs or on structure paper to discuss with you all. If that also I can use it, any 40 MCQ paper or model paper, I can do it, no problem. But end of the day, rather than that, this session is we prepared for to clarify the question and answer. Right, you may have questions, many questions, doubtful areas. Sometimes you can ask any particular part you don't understand clearly. Then if you request me, I can explain it in very faster and very short format, because within 2 hours only we have planned the session. So once I explain one particular child's question, so we don't repeat the same question by other students, right? So that's why you have to listen to me. So at a time when I explain with the question and the answer, others also you can listen to me. Now what I will do, so if you all don't have any question, you have two options. You can listen to me when I answer for other questions, or else you can leave and you can study. Because if you don't have any question, if you're 100% sure about the subject, nothing to worry. Now you all have raised the hand, right? So according to the first priority, I will be mentioning the name. I will be calling one by one. You can unmute yourself and you can ask. Right. Okay, now we will start. Zain, you can unmute, I think, allow participant to unmute. So others don't unmute. So once you make the question, you mute yourself. Huh? Now the first person, Zain, you can ask the question. Zain, you can unmute and you can ask the question. So please, if you all have any question, raise your hand. So it will pop up here, so I can ask one by one. The name you have given on the participant list.
Asking answer.
Students, you will get a pop-up. Once you get the pop-up, please answer. Otherwise, if you don't have the courage to ask a question, please don't raise the hand.
So okay, Zain, you are unmuted. Ask, Zain.
Sir?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, talaq can be divided into two, right?
Talaq.
So can you briefly explain talaq and like the divisions? Because
Yeah, okay. Right, okay. Please unmute, I will explain. So talaq, okay, right. So he asked the question about the divisions of talaq. So again, no, don't ask the question anyone, right? Talaq, you know the talaq means it's a divorce. Actually, the divorce will be divided into three. Divorce will be divided into three types. One is talaq, the other one is khulu, the other one is fasakh. So talaq is the given rights to husband to divorce his wife. That is we call talaq. Khulu mean the rights to given to wife to divorce her husband. And fasakh is if there are any condition nulls in the agreement. For example,
Sir,
husband and wife.
Hear.
Can't hear? Hilmi sir can hear, right?
Yes, sir, can hear.
Yeah. So children, you check your internet connection also, because then only you can get it clear. Right. So for example, in the fasakh, how can it happen? The husband and wife, so after marriage, if one of them converted to another religion, automatically their agreement, nikah agreement will be nullified. So this type of talaq will be called as a fasakh. This talaq will be given by the qadi. So as he asked the question, the talaq. So the talaq is which husband gives the divorce to wife will be divided into two types. Will be divided into two types. So one is talaq bidai, talaq sunni. Talaq bidai and talaq sunni. Talaq bidai mean which is the approved, which is not approved in Islam. Talaq sunnah mean which is approved in Islam. For example, there are three methods of talaq which is not approved. The same way opposite you can convert it. Talaq is not approved.
Sir, 1 minute. Sir,
Yeah.
1 minute. Sir, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Now you can start, sir. Mute, you unmute and you can start the sentence.
Okay. So the talaq bidai example, three methods are there. Number one, pronouncing three talaq at once. Pronouncing three talaq at once is not allowed method, talaq bidai. And the second method is pronouncing talaq after the sexual intercourse, also not allowed in Islam. And the third method is pronouncing talaq during the period of menstruation. During the period of menstruation. So these three talaqs are considered as a talaq bidai, not accepted. So talaq sunni, opposite of this. Which is an approved method. Pronouncing three talaqs at regular intervals, we call it one of the method of talaq sunni. And the other one is pronouncing talaq before the sexual intercourse, we call talaq sunni. And pronouncing the talaq during the tuhur period, that means not a menstruation period, when the woman is purified period, you have to pronounce it. Okay, so comes under talaq sunnah will be divided into two: talaq bainuna kubura, talaq bainuna sughra. Talaq bainuna kubura and bainuna sughra. Talaq bainuna kubura mean it's the permanent separation or major separation. That means after that talaq, husband cannot revoke. That means get her back. So it's an irrevocable talaq. It will be another term is what? Irrevocable talaq. So after pronouncing the third talaq will be considered as bainunatul kubura or else irrevocable talaq. If the talaq is a first talaq pronunciation or after second talaq pronunciation, we consider as a bainunatul sughra. Bainunatul sughra means minor separation. That means it's a temporary separation. That means after first talaq and after second talaq, husband, if he wants, he can cancel the talaq, he can get her wife back. So that talaq, we call it talaq raja'i as well. Talaq raja'i means revocable talaq. Understood? So Zain, still your hand is raised. You can ask the question, Zain. You can unmute and you can ask. If Zain is not asking the question, Nazhat, you can ask the question, Nazhat.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, yeah.
What does Ilmul Qawaid al-Fiqhiyya refers to?
Ilmul Qawaid al-Fiqhiyya mean is one of the part of fiqh field, right? Theories of Islamic Sharia, theories, right? Legal theories
sir.
of Islamic Sharia. Yeah.
Sir, if you want, you can take the screen, sir.
All right, okay, but when I take it, only in whiteboard only I have to scroll it, sir. It's okay, no problem. I think they can understand, no? Okay, Qawaid al-Fiqhiyya mean it's a legal theories, Sharia theories, which is related to the fiqh field. Qawaid al-Fiqhiyya. Qawaid mean theories, fiqh mean the legal field, Sharia fiqh. There are 128 theories are there, but not in your O-level syllabus. But just understand the meaning. Is there any other question? You can continue all the question what you have. Yeah.
Sir, which Imam introduced Qiyas as a source to the sources of Islamic law?
Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah. And understand Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah's main ideology as well. So just I'll take the whiteboard to write it. The letters won't be clear, right? There are two ideologies in fiqh. There are two ideologies in fiqh. One we call Madrasatul Asr, right? Madrasatul Asr. The other one is Madrasatul Ra'i, right? Madrasatul Ra'i. Okay. Madrasatul Asr mean depending on Quran and Sunnah 100% solely and giving the fatwas. So those imams given based on the Madrasatul Asr, Imam Malik rahmatullah and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullah. And Madrasatul Asr mean using the Quran and Sunnah at the same time, the imams, they depend on their own ideology. own opinions, right? So this is we call Madrasatul Ra'i. Ra'i mean opinions. So Imam Abu Hanifa was the first Imam who gave the prominent importance to the logical thinking in the field of fiqh, right? So Imam Abu Hanifa was the Imam who gave more prominence to logic. Therefore, he introduced the source of law called Qiyas. And Imam Shafi Rahmatullah, he combined both the system and together he introduced the field we call Usulul Fiqh. Right? Usulul Fiqh. If they ask the question, the Imam who introduced the Usulul Fiqh, you have to mention Imam Shafi Rahmatullah. Imam Abu Hanifa's ideology is Madrasatul Ra'i. Imam Malik Rahmatullah and Imam Ahmad Rahmatullah's ideology is Madrasatul Asr. If they ask the question, the Imam who introduced or combined both the ideologies, you can say Imam Shafi Rahmatullah. Okay, you can go on. Azat, if you have any other question, you can ask. Or Zain, if you have a question, you can ask. You can unmute, huh? First unmute and talk because you're all muted. Zain, okay, he doesn't have the question. And Azad, your question is finished? Right, okay. Abdul Rahman. So if you have no question, just put your hands down. Huh? Abdul Rahman, you can unmute and you can ask your questions. Okay. And next one is Ashfa. If you have a question, you can ask. Ashfa, unmute and ask the question. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Tahara.
I didn't get it. Tahara.
What is mean by, yeah.
Tahara mean cleanliness, right? Tahara mean cleanliness, which is necessary for the ibadat. The tahara you have studied, tahara can be divided into two, that is the types of water and najis. So that is a tahara, cleanliness concept. You have only one question. If you have more question, you can ask all the question.
Students, don't mute yourself until your doubt is clear. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask, sir will answer your questions. Okay. Until your doubt is clear, no need to mute your this thing if there is no disturbance in behind background. Okay.
Ashfa, only you have one question, right? If Ashfa is not asking another question, Ammar Rizmi, you can unmute and ask all the question. I can note it down here. Yeah.
Sir, can you explain about Jammu and its type?
Right, Jammu. Only you have this question. You have only this question. Right, okay, I will explain the Jammu. And it's two types of Jammu, right? Jammu mean combining the prayers, right? Jammu mean combining the prayers. For example, you can combine 4 time prayers only. You can combine Subah, we can combine. You can combine Asr with Luhar or Luhar with Asr, right? Luhar with Asr you can combine, or else Asr with Luhar you can combine, right? Asr with Luhar also you can combine. And you can combine Maghrib with Isha also you can combine. At the same time, Isha with Maghrib also you can combine. So why I have mentioned these two illustration, I'm going to explain the two types here, right? Jammu Taqdeem and Jammu Ta'khir. There are two types of combining prayers. Huh? Jammu Taqdeem, right? Jammu Taqdeem and Jammu Ta'khir. Jammu Ta'khir, right? Combining will be divided into two, Jammu Taqdeem and Jammu Ta'khir. And remember the word Ta'khir, Akhira. Akhira mean last, right? Akhira mean last, because you can easily understand how to connect with the example. Example say, now the Luhar time, during the Luhar time, if you pray Asr together with Luhar, for example, 1 o'clock you are going to pray in the journey. Now it's a Luhar time, not the Asr time. So now you are going to pray Asr before its prescribed time. Asr you are going to offer before its prescribed time. Then you are preponing, you are taking forward Asr prayer. So you are not going to pray the Asr at the time of Asr. So you are going to take it backward. So we call it that Jammu Taqdeem. Or else you can directly write it down. If you are praying Luhar right? So if you are praying Asr along with Luhar, at the Luhar time, at the time of Luhar, we call it Jammu Taqdeem. The same example, I will take it here, right? And you are going to pray Maghrib. You are going to pray Maghrib, but you are going to Jammu. You are going to combine Isha prayers at the time of Maghrib time. Now, for example, now the time is 7:18, right? Now, not Isha time. Now, I'm going to pray 3 rakat Maghrib. Along with Maghrib, after giving salam, immediately I'm going to pray 4 rakat Isha. No, not the Isha time. So, if I pray Isha before its time, then we call it Jammu Taqdeem, right? And Jammu Ta'khir mean, now I didn't pray Luhar at the time of Luhar. I have come to the Asr time. Now, for example, 4:30, I got the time to pray my journey. Now, what I am going to do, praying 4 rakat Asr, after giving salam immediately, I pray Luhar. So, Luhar, I am praying after its prescribed time. So, this is before its prescribed time. This is after its prescribed time. Then I am praying Luhar along with Asr. At the time of Asr, we call Jammu Ta'khir. And now 7:19 after Isha, right? I'm praying Isha 4 rakat and Maghrib 3 rakat. I'm joining with this. So I'm combining with Isha. So I'm postponing my prayers. That is we call Jammu Ta'khir. Okay. Right. So Ammar Rizvi, you have any question? No. Shahin.
Sir,
Okay, come Nazar.
sir, what is type of hadith which is narrated by the most number of ravis?
Mutawatir. Hadith mutawatir, we call the most number of ravis narrated hadith, we call hadith mutawatir.
Sir, who is the imam who started to develop the hadith and fit together?
Imam Malik Rahmatullah's Muwatta Malik was the first book combining both the things. Imam Malik Rahmatullah.
Sir, among the rakuns of Qiyas, which term is used to refer the ruling?
Hukum.
What is meant by Siriyat Dawa?
Siryatul Dawah mean during Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam Makkah period, preaching Islam has held in secret. First 3 years of Rasulullah's Dawah period.
Okay, sir.
40 to 43 years, Rasulullah preached Islam secretly. That secret Dawah we call Siryatul Dawah.
Okay.
That's all?
Yeah, sir. Jazakallah.
Until you finish all the question, you go unmute. That's all? Okay, right. Okay, Shahin, you can unmute and ask. Shahin? 3 times we call. If you don't respond, we give to other one. No? Shahin? Right, Shahin is not responding. Hashir, you have to unmute. Huh? Children, you have to unmute and ask the question. Hashir, you can unmute and ask your question. Your mics are muted. You have to unmute and ask the question. Right. AM Arafat, you can unmute and ask the question.
Students, you will get a pop-up. Okay, once you get the pop-up, you can unmute and you can ask the questions. Okay, so you will get a pop-up. Sir will give the permission to unmute. You will get a pop-up. So once you click that one, you can unmute and you can ask the questions.
Yeah. Okay, Arafat.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. Yeah.
Sir, when Umar radiallahu anhu did say that I am going from one qadr to another qadr.
Okay. Only this is your question. You have another
No,
question?
sir. What is meant by murabaha?
Murabaha, right? Okay.
Sir, and can you explain ijma and qiyas shortly?
Right. Ijma and qiyas. Ijma and qiyas. Okay. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, children. So again, don't repeat these questions. Ijma, qiyas, murabaha, don't ask. Because once I explain, no, because otherwise it will waste of time for you all. Right. So the first question he asked, once Umar radiallahu anhu said, I'm going from one qadr to another. So one of the situation, what is the situation is that, right? Rasul Umar radiallahu anhu, during his Khilafat period, he traveled to Sham, the place called Sham, with his companions. Okay. So while he was going, he got the message from the ambassadors that there is a disease spreading, like, today COVID-19, it's a kind of a, what do you call the communicable disease? They call it cholera, right? So then immediately he stopped the journey and he asked the companions, we'll back to Medina, we go back to Medina. Then Amr ibn As radiallahu anhu, who was associated with Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, Amirul Mu'minin, Umar radiallahu special name, Amirul Mu'minin, are you escaping from Rasulullah's Qadr, sorry, Allah's Qadr? Are you running away from Allah's Qadr? He asked this question. Then Umar radiallahu anh said, I am not running from the Qadr. I am moving from one Qadr to another Qadr. Traveling to that Sham also one of the Qadr, Kala Qadr decided one. Now, once I got to know that there is a viral flu is going on, then I have to go back to Medina. So for the protection purpose, we can't say that it's because of Allah's Kala Qadr, whatever happens, I can't live like that, right? So that's what Umar radiallahu anh said, I am going from one Qadr to another Qadr. So situation is, there's a viral flu is a communicable disease spread in in Sham. So once he got to know that, so he returned his journey with his companions. So Amr ibn As asked the question, are you running from Qadr? For that he replied, no, I'm not running from the Qadr. I am going from one Qadr to another. Hope you understand the answer. Right? Now come to the second one, Murabaha. What is Murabaha? It is the business transaction method. This is a transaction method where seller, right? Where seller reveal the cost of the product and the profit of the product. For example, now the X, he is going to sell the product, right? He is revealing to the person who is going to buy, say, for example, Y is going to buy the product. So he is revealing, I bought this product for 500 rupees and the profit I added is 80 rupees, altogether 580. So he revealed the cost of the product to this buyer and the profit of the product to the buyer, and he sell. This transaction method called Murabaha. Right? Today we are doing the business. We don't reveal the cost of production and profit of the product. So that is not Murabaha. But this Murabaha concept, in practically only the Islamic banks are doing it. So for the installment purpose, the huge amount of money, for example, if you want to buy the laptop for 100,000, so the bank will buy the laptop and they reveal to the customer, we bought it for 100,000 and the profit we are adding 10,000. So 110,000 divided by 12 months and monthly you are going to pay. For this purpose only today they are using. If they ask you for 2 marks in the exam paper, you have to write only this definition. If this, where the seller reveal the cost of the product and the profit of the product to the buyer, we call it Murabaha transaction. Okay, right. Come to Ijma and Qiyas. Ijma means, Ijma and Qiyas both are considered as a secondary source of Islamic law, right? Primary is Al-Quran and Sunnah. This is a secondary source of Islamic law, right? And remember, these are the things you have to remember under the Ijma. Number one, definition. What is Ijma's definition? The consensus of opinion of the scholars, right? Or collective decisions of the scholars on a particular problem, which is not addressed in the Quran, which is not addressed in the Quran and Sunnah. It's a new problem, which is not mentioned in the Quran Sunnah. For that, the scholars get together, mujtahis get together, and they collectively they come to the conclusion. Based on their conclusion, it will be divided into 3 based on their conclusion. For example, if, for example, 100 mujtahis got together and they have found the solution, all 100 agreed on the opinion. For example, smoking is haram. Smoking is a new problem, right? Smoking is haram. All 100 scholars agreed smoking is haram. Then we call this ijma, ijma sarih. Ijma sarih or ijma qawli. Ijma qawli. That means all expressed. The verbally they have revealed their opinions that smoking is haram. So it's a clear ijma. Meaning is what? Ijma sarih mean clear ijma, or ijma qawli mean we express. We verbally we express that ijma. And the second one, suppose say out of this 100, 90 scholars agreed and the 10 they have got a different opinion. So we call it this majorities ijma. Majority of the scholars agreed, we call ijma aksariya. Ijma aksariya, right? Ijma aksariya is a majorities ijma. And for example, out of this 100, 90 people agreed, but 10 people didn't reveal anything. They kept silent. Right? 90 people, they said it's makruh, but here 90 people opposed the argument. But here the 10 people, balanced 10 people, they kept silent. So they are silent, considered as an agreement. So we call it, it's a silent ijma or ijma sukuti. Ijma sukuti. Right? So these are the 3 types of ijma. Simply, I will again say the types of ijma. Ijma sarih or ijma qawli, we call it clear ijma, or where all the scholars agreed. And second one is ijma aksariya, where the majority of the scholars agreed. Ijma sukuti, it's a silent ijma, where almost everyone agreed. Only few of the scholars not reveal their opinion. Their silent indicates their agreement. Okay. Another one more thing, benefit of ijma. You have to understand the benefits of ijma, right? Number one, it will create unity and the brotherhood among the Muslim society. Unity and the brotherhood among the Muslim society. Ijma is one of the benefits. Number two, right? This is one of the organized structure of the Muslim community to find the solution, right? This is one of the organized structure to find the solution for a problem. For example, if this system is not there, people will follow different ideology. So because of ijma, they will find the solution, they reveal to the society, so they will follow that. It's one of the constructive system which Muslim Ummah have, right? And third one, using this system, we can find any problem arise till the day of judgment. So whatever the problem comes, we can use this system to find the solution. Okay, so this is under the ijma. And qiyas, under the qiyas means simply we can say analogy, right? Or reasoning or comparison. Reasoning or comparison. Right? Comparison. What do we mean by the comparison or analogy or reasoning? We are going to compare a modern problem to the problem which is already mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah. Now, I will take an example. Using the example, I can tell you the rukuns of the qiyas also, arkans of the qiyas. Right? So, first one, arkan number one, al-asl. Right? There are 4 arkans are there, al-asl. What al-asl mean? The basic problem which is resolved in the Quran or Sunnah. Basic problem which is resolved already in the Quran. Right? I'll take a little bit. Al-asl, right? Al-asl, it is resolved problem. It is a resolved problem in the Quran. Already the solution is given in the Quran, right? Example, you can see Al-Quran, the khamr. Khamr mean it is the wine made out of dates. It's a wine made out of dates. So which is mentioned in the Quran as haram. Al-Quran mentioned only one type of liquor or wine or whatever intoxicate. It is in the Quran. That is what? Al-Khamr, made out of dates. That is the asl, the basic problem which is already resolved in the Quran. Number 2, fara'u. Right? Fara'u mean it's a new problem. It's a new problem. So new problem you can take, for example, any new, modern type of alcohol we can take it. So normally I give the example, easy example, vodka. Right? So the vodka is a new problem, a modern problem, right? Which is not mentioned in the Quran whether this is haram or not. And the third one, illat. Third rukun is what? Illat. Illat means reason, right? And a common feature we can find in this khamr and vodka. What is the common feature? So why Allah made it haram, this khamr? Because Al-Quran already solved this problem. Now, why it is haram? The reason we are going to tell the reason. What is the reason? Major reason is intoxication. Right? Intoxication, right? So if it is intoxication mean intoxication or else making harmful to the health. And if the same feature can we find in vodka or modern type of any type of alcohol, if we find it, we have to give the solution, the same solution which was given to this previous problem. What was the previous problem Quran mentioned? That is we call hukum, right? Hukum mean solution given in the Quran. Solution given in the Quran. What Quran has mentioned? Haram. Quran mentioned haram. Why Quran mentioned haram? Because it's intoxication. So if you find the same feature for the vodka, intoxication or harmful for the body, this also will be haram. Okay, right. All right. The next one, Shaheen. You can ask the question. Shaheen, you can ask the question. You unmute and talk, huh? Okay.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Islam, yeah.
What are the prohibited things to do during Iddah for a woman, sir?
Okay, that is the only question you have?
Yeah.
Right. During Iddah period, what are the things prohibited? So major two things we can mention. Number one, marriage proposals, right? During Iddah period, marriage proposals are prohibited. And the second one is decorating herself. Decorating herself is prohibited. Major two things, huh? Yeah, hold on, huh? After Azan will start. Right, okay. Okay, right. The next one. Rizvi. You can ask the question. Rizvi. Unmute and ask the question. Oh, where Rizvi is not there. Next one, we can say Shakil Ahmed. You can unmute and ask.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. Yeah.
Sir, what are the two types of Shirkul Akbar?
Normally, that type of questions is actually wrong. Even I can see in the past paper it was there. Shirkul Akbar, normally they don't use it the two types. Actually, Shirkul Jali and Shirkul Khafi, they are using it, right? If they ask you such a way, you can write this answer. Huh? Shirkul Jali, right? Shirkul Jali, right? Shirkul Jali mean explicit shirk. Explicit shirk. And the second one is Shirkul Khafi, right? Shirkul Khafi. Shirkul Khafi mean implicit shirk, right? Implicit
examples
shirk.
for that.
That's what. Here actually, the Shirkul Jali mean the shirk which is very visible to everyone. Worshipping idols, right? Worshipping other than Allah. This is comes under this category. Directly you are worshipping another idol or another statue, right? This is we call Shirkul Jali. It's visible, right? It's visible. Implicit mean, or explicit mean visible to everyone. Shirkul Khafi mean it's a hidden one. Everyone can't understand that this person has performed the shirk, right? And normally they call black magic, reading horoscope, right? So that's what these are, comes under the shirk types of shirk only, not only the Shirkul Akbar. That was they have asked in the O-level, one of the O-level paper they have asked. They are not supposed to, because this is A-levels terms only this. So don't worry, hereafter they will directly ask shirk, what are the types of shirk? Then you can write Shirkul Akbar, Shirkul Asghar. Shirkul Akbar mean major shirk. Example, worshipping idols. Shirkul Asghar mean minor shirk. Example, black magics, annihilation, reading horoscope, finding the superstitious time, auspicious time. Those are the examples. Okay, what is the other question?
What is Hijrat?
Hijrat mean Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam leaving from Makkah to Medina, we call it Hijrat. Leaving from Makkah to Medina, we call it Hijrat.
Mujizat granted to prophets and Mujizat listed in the Holy Quran.
Mujizat, isn't it? Mujizat, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, repeat the question. Mujizat?
Granted to Rasuls. Mujizat listed in the Holy Quran.
Right. You're asking the examples of the mujizat. For example, from Musa alayhi salam was given a mujizat. He was given a stick, right? So if he put the sticks, it will become a snake. So that is one of the mujizat given to Musa alayhi salam. And Isa alayhi salam, if he touch, he can cure the blind. If he touch a dead person, he can get the life. So this is one of the mujizat to Isa alayhi salam. And Dawood alayhi salam mujizat, he can make the iron flexible so that he can make the weapons. Right? If he touch the iron, it will become flexible. So he can make, he can bend the irons and he can make the weapons. That is another mujizat to Dawood alayhi salam. Sulaiman alayhi salam mujizat is Allah was given the ability to talk to all the creatures in the world. Even he can talk to the animals, birds. Even he can talk to the wind. Right? So that is a mujizat given to Sulaiman alayhi salam. And the mujizat given to Salih alayhi salam, he revealed a camel from the rock. Right, with the help of Allah, he revealed a camel from the rock. It's a mujizat given to Salih alayhi salam. And the mujizat given to Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Al-Quran. That's all your questions?
Sir, Hadith Nabawi and Hadith Qudsi.
Hadith Nabawi, both are types of hadith, right? You know that hadith comes under the type of wahi. Hadith wahi ghayru matlu, right? Wahi ghayru matlu means not recited revolution. So the hadith, all the hadith, Rasulullah Sunnah comes under wahi ghayru matlu. That hadith divided into two types, hadith Nabawi and hadith Qudsi. Any hadith which start with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, we call hadith Nabawi. If a hadith start with Allah said, we call it hadith Qudusi. Yeah.
That's all, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Barakallah. Next one. Rizvi. You can unmute and you can, so if you don't, you can, you can mute it, right? Okay. Thank you. Rizvi, you can unmute. Right. Rizvi is not responding. Shimash, you can unmute and ask the question.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum assalam, yeah. Go ahead.
Sir, what are the reasons for studying the Seerah, prophetic history?
Seerah. Only this is your question?
No, sir. Two reasons for the Quraysh to oppose the dawah of Prophet.
Reasons for opposing dawah, right? Right, just all right, opposing. Only these two, right? The reason why we have to study Seerah, number one, Rasulullah was the last prophet. Rasulullah was the last prophet. Okay, that's the first reason why we have to study. Rasulullah was the last prophet. That's the reason Seerah we have to study. Number two, we can find the role models from Rasulullah's biography. We can find number of role models. For example, when he was young, how was the role model? We can take it from him. After the marriage, as a husband, what are the role models? We can take it. After becoming father, what are the role model? As a father, what we can learn. And after becoming the grandfather, he has some role model. As a friend to Abu Bakr radiallahu anh and Umar radiallahu anh, as a role model, we can find as a friend. And in the battlefield, as the battalion, he has some kind of qualities and the exemplary ideologies, we can find it. And as a leader, right? As a leader, as a president of Medina, there are some kind of qualities we can learn, right? As a after that, sorry, I forgot. So after that, he married a number of wives, right? So how he equally treated everyone, how he equally treated everyone. So likewise, we can find it number of role models from Rasulullah. So we have to learn Rasulullah Seerah to find out that role models to implement in our life. Second one. And the third one, Rasulullah Seerah is protected till date. Rasulullah Seerah authentically protected. For example, if Rasulullah's seerah was not protected authentically, for example, it's added something, it's removed something, will anyone follow that? We won't follow it, right? We don't learn it. Because why we are not learning everyone's biographies? We just read it. Sometimes we don't follow, we don't read it, we don't read even, right? We read it, but we don't follow it. But why we are reading and we are following Rasulullah's seerah? Because we know that 100% it is preserved, it was protected by Imams. So these are the reasons we have to study. Another one more reason you can additionally tell that this seerah, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam seerah is compiled in many languages. Rasulullah's seerah is compiled in many languages, right? If they ask you significance of seerah also, you can write these examples, these answers, significance of seerah, or the reason why we have to learn seerah also, you can write these example points. And the opposite, why the Jahiliyyah period or Makkah period, the kuffar, they oppose Rasulullah's da'wah. The main reason, number one, because Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam opposed their idols, statues, right? They are major religions. They are major religions in the sense they believed in 365 statues. They have believed in 65 statues. That's what Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam opposed. These are associating partner with Allah, and Rasulullah's ideologies are against their traditional belief. Simply remember, Rasulullah's preaching was against their traditional belief. Number two, they were scared if majority of the people accepted, the leadership will be given to Rasulullah. Right? If sometime, for example, why they punished, they tortured the people who accepted Islam in Makkah period, then only others will not accept. If everyone, majority of the people accepted Islam, the leadership of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be taken. Right? So they scared their influence will be removed. Their influence will be taken away by Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? And the third one, if they accept Islam, there are a number of bad activities they cannot perform. Associating partner with Allah, alcohol, prostitution, interest taking, gambling, all those activities they have to stop. So they don't want to sacrifice those. That's the reason they oppose it. Okay. You have any other questions, Jumas? Right. Mariam, you can unmute and ask the question, Mariam.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
A little bit louder. Increase your voice and talk. A little bit slow.
Okay. What are the media techniques used by Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam?
Okay, media techniques. After that,
and also what does Mushaf Usmani mean? And Fiqhul Awlawiyat.
Right. Mushaf Usmani Awlawiyat, right? Fiqhul Awlawiyat, right?
Yes.
Fiqhul Awlawiyat. So the first question was media techniques used by Rasulullah or media ethics you asked? Huh?
Technique.
Media techniques used by Rasulullah, no?
Yeah.
You're asking media techniques used by Rasulullah, right?
Yes.
Okay,
sir.
right. Okay. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam media techniques. Rasulullah used major two techniques. One is direct techniques, right? Direct media techniques. Another one is indirect media techniques, right? Direct and indirect. What are the direct media techniques? Mean directly Rasulullah involved in the communication. So normally indirectly or indirectly Rasulullah, what Rasulullah communicated, Al-Quran, Sunnah. Remember that the basics what Rasulullah communicated is Al-Quran and Sunnah only Rasulullah communicated. What are the direct methods? Direct method Rasulullah used. Example, Rasulullah used the highest places to convey the message. Example, Mount Safa, right? Mount Safa. At the first sermon Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did at Mount Safa to the Quraysh immediately. That is one of the method Rasulullah, because those days, if their the communication method is highest place, they get on the highest place and they call everyone and they convey the message. So Rasulullah also used the same method. Highest places, mountains, right? Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam have used it. And the second one, Rasulullah used the markets, right? Directly Rasulullah visit to the markets, Zul Majaz, Majanna, Ukkaz. These are some of the markets Rasulullah used. Directly Rasulullah go to market because there are many people and there's opportunity to convey the message. That means actually the Quran Sunnah, right? Preaching Islam. Rasulullah used the direct method. And the other method, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, illustration method. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used some illustration. Example, I will tell you 3 examples for the illustration. One of the occasion, Rasulullah used some lines, right? To explain the Akhirah and Dunya life, Rasulullah used some lines. draw lines on the sand, and Rasulullah explained it. Another example, Rasulullah came to market and Rasulullah took one of the dead god's head, right? Head of a dead god, and Rasulullah explained using that god's head, the worldly life reality of the worldly life. Okay. And the third example, Rasulullah shaken the tree, and after that some of the leaves have fallen down. Rasulullah used this illustration to explain how sins are forgiven if you ask forgiveness from Allah, right? So this is also another method. So one is highest place is Safa Marwa, sorry Safa, and at last Arafah also Rasulullah used, last sermon also, and markets Rasulullah used, and illustration Rasulullah used. Okay, these are the indirect method. Rasulullah directly preaching, communicating method. Indirect method, Rasulullah used two methods. One is letter. Rasulullah sent letters, right? Rasulullah sent letters to number of kings, different regions. And the third one, ambassadors. Rasulullah used send ambassadors, not with the letter, just Rasulullah informed the message to them, so they remember the message, they go and convey the message. Letters and ambassadors. Examples in your textbook, you can say Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu sent to Yemen as an ambassador, Hatib ibn Abi Balta radiallahu anhu sent to Egypt, right? And the king of Muqawqis, another Sahabi, has gone. Likewise, you can give the examples. Okay, right? That is a media. Mushaf mean a handwritten Al-Quran, simply we call Mushaf, right? Handwritten Al-Quran we call Mushaf. If they ask you what is the first Mushaf mean, you can say the first Quran compiled during Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu's period, we can say first Mushaf. The Mushaf Usmani mean the Quran which is written during the period of Usman radiallahu anhu, we call Mushaf Usmani. Sometimes there is a definition you can write. The Quran which is written by Usman radiallahu anhu, we call it Mushaf Usmani, right? And the last one, Fiqhul Awlawiyat. Fiqhul Awlawiyat mean considering the priorities, right? Considering or giving priorities when taking decisions. Very important thing. Giving priorities. Fiqhul Awlawiyat mean, right? Fiqhul Awlawiyat mean giving priorities when you take the decision. For example, mostly past paper question last 2 years, you can find it, right? You can see number of questions are there. While you are going to mosque, a person is faced an accident, and he is now in a place where he needs some first aid or wanted to go to doctor. Now we are on the way to mosque. What you will do as a priority, right? At that time, you have to take that person to the hospital. That is a priority. For example, now you are reciting Quran. Now azan is the 5-time prayer is called. What is the priority now? You have to go to the mosque priority. And another example, you have performed already 1 Hajj and 2 Umrahs. Now at this time, COVID-19 time, you have intended to perform a Umrah. So at this time, but you have to give priority rather than spending money for Umrah. You can give that money to the society, those who are affected by this COVID-19, right? This is we call giving priority, giving priority while taking decision. At this time, what is important? There are 2-3 situations will be there. What we have to give important. Comparing the Farl and Sunnat, you have to give the important to Farl. Comparing the individual benefit and the social benefit, right? You have to consider the social benefit as an important thing, right? If there is a chance you getting Akhirah life only, very important mean, for example, one friend is calling for outing, for fun. At the same time, another friend is calling for a 3 days Jamaat. So which one we have to give the priority? Akhirah life only, you have to give the priority, right? Okay. I hope I have answered all of your questions, right? Right. Hafsa, I have asked you to unmute. You can ask the question. Unmute and ask the question.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yeah.
What is Bayatul Aqaba?
Aqaba, right? Only this is your question?
There are 3 ways which kufr take place. That one also, sir.
Okay, then that's all.
Yes, sir.
Right. Aqaba Treaty or Bayatul Aqaba, both are same, right? Bayatul Aqaba or Aqaba Treaty, both are same. There are 2 Aqaba treaties were held. First one is the first 11th of Nubuwwat. 11th of Nubuwwat, that means in Medina, so in Makkah. When Rasulullah was in Makkah, 11th of Nubuwwat year, not Hijrat, because before Medina, no, in Makkah period, we call Nubuwwat year only, 5th Nubuwwat, 2nd Nubuwwat, 11th Nubuwwat. That means Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's 51, right? When Rasulullah was 51 year. 11th of Nubuwwat, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam period in Makkah, 12 members met Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Who are those 12 members? People of Medina, right? Medina, People of Medina came from Medina under the leadership of Mus'ab ibn Umayr radiyallahu anhu. Mus'ab ibn Umayr radiyallahu anhu, they met Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They accepted Islam. Actually, they agreed Islam, right? They accept Islam. And to say at that time, they promised Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Bayat mean agreement, right? They promised Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, hereafter we will not associate partner with Allah. We don't consume liquor. We don't take interest. We don't prostitute, right? They agreed that one. That is we call Aqaba Pact 1 or Aqaba Agreement 1 or Aqaba Treaty 1 or Bayatul Aqaba first, whatever you call it. Simply remember, 12 members of Medina people have agreed, accepted Islam in the Nubuwwat 11th. After 2 years, I guess, I have a small doubt on that, whether it's the 13th or 12th Nubuwwat. I guess it's the 13th Nubuwwat, I guess, right? So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam during the first Aqaba appointed Mus'ab ibn Umayr as a leader and asked him to preach Islam in Medina. And after 2 years, 13th year of Nubuwwat, he came with 72 people of Medina additionally. 72 people accepted Islam with Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam during the second Aqaba agreement. In that Aqaba agreement only, one of the main point was mentioned by the 72 people. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was invited to Medina. After that only, Rasulullah migrated to Medina. Right? So this is Aqaba treaty. Yeah? And the kufr can be taken place 3 ways, right? Even sometimes they use the word riddat also, but you can use it the same answer. But riddat they will not use. Kufr is the majority of the questions they use. Kufr through belief, right? Kufr through belief. And the second one is kufr through action. And the third one is kufr through words, right? Statement. So it should be action here come, right? Kufr through belief means if a person believes that Allah doesn't have such qualities, if the person believes prophets are not free from sin, right? Such a things in 6 of articles of Iman, if they neglect, if they refuse, if they don't believe, we call it kufr through belief. Example, you can write, believing in Allah doesn't have some wajib sifat. Allah doesn't have one of the Asmaul Husna. Allah cannot be a Rahim. Allah cannot be a Rahman. Allah cannot be Qudra, right? That's like that, not believing in that. That is we call kufr through belief. So that automatically they will be considered as a kafir, rejected. Kufr through statement or kufr through words, right? Kufr through words mean revealing that, expressing the ideology. For example, scolding prophets or scolding Allah, finding shortcomings from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam or finding shortcoming from Allah's qualities, expressing the ideologies, right? That is we call kufr through speech, right? Action mean coming to the action part, tearing the pages of the Quran, burning the pages of the Quran, sketching Allah, or drawing Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these all comes under the kufr through action. Okay, right. So Muhammad Z, you can ask the question, Muhammad Z. We will go a little bit faster. So don't repeat those questions which you already asked. Huh? Muhammad Z, you can unmute and talk. Muhammad, okay.
Sir.
Yes.
What is Ismat?
Ismat means free from sin. It's free from sin. Huh? That's all you have. Until your questions are finished, you don't want to unmute. That's all your question? Only one question?
Sir, what is Raji?
Raja.
Yeah, Raja.
Raja mean hope on Allah. Raja mean hope on Allah.
And sharats and farals both are same.
No, shart mean conditions. Farl mean compulsory act. Facing Qibla is a shart in prayers. Reciting Surah Al-Fatiha is a farl of prayers. Example I told. Shart mean before the act comes, what is the condition you should have? You have to take wudu is a condition. But you have to perform. While performing, there are farl activities. Are there? Shart and farl different. Huh?
And what is zihar?
Lihar. Lihar mean comparing wife to his mother physically. That is because
okay.
Lihar is a kind of a talaq. Huh? Kind of a talaq. That's all. Okay, barakallah. And Shahruz. Shahruz, you can ask. Shahruz.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. Yeah.
Sir, can you tell me an example of Khilafah?
Khilafah, you're asking example? Yeah, how can that example like that? There won't be any question. Khilafat mean, right? Khilafat mean representative of Allah, right? Representative of Allah. It depends on the place where it comes. For example, there are 3 obligations in Islam. Al-Quran says one is ibadat, imarat, khilafat. What is khilafat in that terms? Actually, a representative of Allah. So you and me, we are representative of Allah. So whatever Allah has ordered us, we have to do that. That is a khilafat. And Rasul, that khilafat, there is another term, the same term in a different place. Khilafat of Amir Umar radiallahu anh. That means a ruling. According to the Sharia, we have to rule the nation when you become the president. That is become a khilafah. We can't say like example like that. Is that only your question have? Unmute and talk.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay,
Thank
right,
you,
fine.
sir.
Jazakallah. Okay. Next one is Humaira.
Barakallah, sir.
Humaira, you can ask the question. Make it faster.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
I have 7 questions to ask.
Okay, right.
What is meant by nifaq, sir?
I will note it down, jot it down, everything.
Yeah, and Hudaybiyah Treaty.
First one is Hudaybiyah Treaty. Okay.
Okay, nifaq, Hudaybiyah Treaty.
Okay, wait, nifaq. Yeah, go ahead.
And li'an.
Li'an. Okay.
And muhasaba.
Muhasaba.
And ijara.
Ijara.
Salam.
Salam.
And makruh.
What is that? Makruh.
Yeah, makruh.
Makruh, right?
Yeah, makruh.
Makruh. So you're asking some of the meaning also, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I will come to the easiest one and I will come to the Hudaybiyah at last, right? Makruh mean dislike acts, we call makruh. Dislike activities, we call makruh. For example, we can say continuously eating crabs for 40 days, we call makruh. Example, because they won't ask the example for you all, right? That is we call makruh, dislike activities. Not haram, not haram. But continuously when you are doing this makruh activity, automatically we will fall into haram. But simply understand the meaning. Makruh mean dislike activities. Salam is a kind of a transaction we call giving advance, right? Giving advance we call salam. The salam transaction normally we are using in the agriculture field, right? Agriculture, for example, you are going to the one of the harvest field and you are paying advance. Either it can be the full payment or else a half payment, and you are ordering the products. For example, 500 kilogram carrots you are ordering, giving advance, and you place the order agriculture product. By the time the product is not available, you know, you have studied in trade. One of the condition is the product should be exist, right? The article on sale should be exist. You have to show the product. But in this case, salam, the product is not available, right? So Islam has given exceptions. So if they ask you also, you can write it, mention one of the transaction, which is the exception in the trade condition. Salam transaction, right? There's another transaction we call istisna, right? Istisna also kind of a manufacturing loan, or you are giving the payment and you are placing the order before the product comes to the existence. For example, construction. Before the building construction, you give the payment and you start the work. You are going to the tailor and you are giving the payment and you ask him to start the work. But the product is not available at the time. So simply salam mean giving advance. Only the definitions they will ask meaning. Ijara is renting. Ijara mean renting. Simply understand what are the conditions. You have to focus on the ijara. So when we are going to offer a product or a building, mostly house, right? When you are going to give as a rent, very important thing, it should be the ownership. You are the owner of the product, building. And when you are handing over, agreement should be very important. You can keep the witness as well. Very important, contract period, right? Contract period, you can negotiate it. And when you are handing over, the product should be completely fulfilled without any damages you have to hand over, right? And muhasaba, only muhasaba meaning you understand self-assessment. Muhasaba mean self-assessment. Normally it comes under the spiritual advancement. The Imams highly recommend, even Umar radiallahu anhu, one of the statement, right? Hasibu anfusakum qabla an tuhasibu. I think this is there in one of the textbook is there, one of the lesson it's there. Before you are questioned, question yourself, right? Question yourself every day before you will be questioned on the day of judgment. That is we call self-assessment. Every day night before we sleep, you ask the question, what I have done today. That is we call self-assessment, muhasaba. What is li'an? Li'an also only the definition meaning they ask. Finding or I forgot the declaring, right? False accusation against the wife. Li'an mean, this is one of the type of talaq, as one of the person, a student asked, lihar. Lihar mean comparing to the wife, his mother physically. It's one of the type. Li'an is, suppose if the husband finding the false allegation against the wife in order to get the divorce. For example, he's telling that I have seen she has a illegal relationship. She had a different type of relationship. In that case, they will go to Qadi and they have to curse each other. So the li'an, the la'anatul la'an mean cursing, right? They will curse each other. So that is we call li'an. After that, automatically it will be considered as a divorce. Talaq will be happen. So simply understand li'an mean finding the false, putting the false accusation against wife. And the nifaq mean hypocrisy. Nifaq mean hypocrisy. What is hypocrisy mean? Hiding kufr in his mind and pretending as a Muslim. Hiding kufr and pretending as a Muslim, right? So the person who perform nifaq we call munafiq. The person who perform nifaq we call munafiq. And Rasulullah mentioned 3 qualities of this munafiq. Number 1, cheating, right? They will be cheating. And number 2, lies. Always they lie. Number 3, breaking promises, right? Number 3, breaking promises. So there are 3 qualities of munafiqs: cheating, telling lies, breaking promises. So this is we call munafiq's quality. Now I'll come to your first question, Hudaybiyah Treaty, right? Hudaybiyah Treaty. Hudaybiyah Treaty was signed in the Hijri 6th, right? Hudaybiyah Treaty was signed in the Hijri 6th. In between Muslims or Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Quraysh of Makkah, right? Quraysh of Makkah, it was signed. There are major 4 conditions. There are major 4 conditions in Hudaybiyah Treaty. First one, the Quraysh only all the conditions imposed. Number 1, we don't want to fight hereafter. So 10 years, no war. That is a peace talk, right? Ceasefire. They said 10 years, there will not be any war. We will not come for the battle. 10 years, no war. First condition. Condition number 2, this year, now at this moment, they can't perform Umrah. That Umrah, they can't enter to Makkah. They can't enter to Makkah. In exam, they will be sometime asked only the conditions. Only condition. So this year, they can't. Next year onwards, they can come. Next year onwards, they can come, but only 3 days only they can stay. Only 3 days they can stay. And the third condition, if anyone come from Medina to Makkah, we will not send them back. If anyone come from Medina to Makkah, if any Muslim come to Makkah, we will not send back. At the same time, if anyone come from Makkah to Medina, Muslims should send back. If anyone from Makkah escape, normally from Makkah, the people who accepted Islam, they try to escape. If anyone come to Medina, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam should take the responsibility to send them back to Makkah. And the last condition, any tribes around Makkah and Medina, any tribes around Makkah and Medina can join in agreement with Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or Quraysh. Anyone can join with Rasulullah or anyone can join with Quraysh. So those who want to have the agreements with Rasulullah, they can join with them, or else if they want to join with Quraysh also, they can join. So if they join with Quraysh or if they join with Prophet, they also should be considered under this agreement. They can't fight for 10 years. They can't enter to the Makkah likewise. Okay, so anyone can join around the Kaabatullah. Sorry, around the Makkah and Medina. So Hijri 7th last, nearly Hijri 8th, they broken this agreement. Hijri 8, Rasulullah invaded Makkah. So Hijri 8, Makkah was conquered. Right? Next question. We will go to MZM Zaid. Okay, you can unmute and talk. Ask your question. Zaid. Zaid is not there. You can unmute. Right. Okay. Muhammad Muntazir, you can unmute and talk. Muntazir.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yeah.
So what are the two types of idda?
Yeah. There are three types of idda. I will tell three types of idda. Only that is the question.
No, sir. What is karamat?
Karamat.
Furls of fasting.
Furls of fasting.
And the people who are not eligible to receive zakat.
Wait, I will type it. Okay. Karamat, you said. What else? Idda, right? Idda types. The types and
Furls of fasting.
Furl of fasting. Okay. And the what is another one you asked?
People who are not eligible to receive zakat.
Not eligible zakat. So this is for my reference. Okay, right. I will take. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Karamat is a special ability given to the awliyas, right? Karamat is a special ability given to the awliyas. That definition is enough. Okay. Types of idda. Idda means you know that after three incidents, three occasions are there at the time they are performing this one. Idda means directly you can take the definition. Idda means counting period, right? Counting period. There are three types of idda. There are three types of idda. First type is after the death of a husband. After the death of a husband. Right? So no, wait. Oh my God! Wait. I tried to scrub. Okay, Raj, I'll just talk. Okay, right. After the death, the first one is after the death of the husband. After the death of the husband, 4 months and 10 days. 4 months and 10 days is the first type of idda, right? After the death of husband. Second one is after the death of husband, but the wife is pregnant. If the wife is pregnant, if the wife is pregnant, the idda period is till childbirth, right? Till childbirth. So two types I said. First one is after death of a husband, but she is not pregnant, 4 months and 10 days. But after the death of a husband, if she is the pregnant, idda period is the till childbirth. Third one, after the divorce. After the divorce, 3 months. 3 months. Sometimes they use the word rather than 3 months, they use the word 3 tuhur period. 3 menses period. Sometimes they say that, right? So these are the three types of idda. Furls of fasting. There are two furls. One is intention. One is intention. Second one is abstraining from eating, drinking, and some of the nullified activities. Example, sexual intercourse. There are many things, right? So number one is intention. Number two, abstraining some of the nullified activities, which fasting will be nullified from sunrise to sunset. These are the two furls of fasting, right? And the people who are not eligible to zakat, number one, simply we can say the rich people, right? The rich people not eligible to receive zakat. And second one is Rasulullah's family members, Ahlul Bayt. Rasulullah's family members, Ahlul Bayt, and Banu Hashims, right? Banu Hashims also not who have enough or sufficient income also not eligible to receive zakat, and the mushriks, right? Mushriks also not eligible to receive zakat, right? Okay, these are the people. Hope I have answered all the question, right? Muntazir, okay. Abdullah, you can ask the question.
Sir, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, what is the difference between mujtahid and muqallid?
Okay. What else? Only that is the question? You have only one question? Abdullah, only you have one question?
Sir, then another one is there, sir. Like, what is the punishment given for defamation?
Defamation punishment 80 lashes, huh? Defamation.
And sir, can you explain
Defamation, 80
again from first what is defamation?
Defamation, right? Okay. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, one more is
Uh,
there, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is fabricated that is like, how is fabricated that is known called?
Fabricated hadith, only the meaning Arabic word, right? Fabricated hadith we call mawdu, huh? Hadith mawdu. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right.
So explain defamation also.
Okay, right. That's why I wrote it. Mujtahid mean, you know, the scholars, the person who is finding the solution which is not addressed in the Quran and Sunnah, using Quran Sunnah, but okay, finding the solution. Mujtahid mean the people who perform ijtihad. What is ijtihad? An act or effort they put together to find the solution for the modern problem or new problem. That is we call mujtahid. They put an effort. They put an effort. They should have some qualifications, well versed in the Quran and Sunnah, and they should have the proper understanding about the usul al-fiqh, sources of Islamic law. They should know previous ijma and the previous mujtahids fatwas. They should know, right? And they should very good language, Arabic language, and taqwa also one of the added condition for the mujtahid. Who is mukallid mean opposite of mujtahid. Mukallid, they don't do any effort to find the solution for the modern problem. Instead, whatever mujtahid found the solution, they will try to find their solution and the mujtahid solution, and they will explain us others. Mukallid, simply they call mukallid mean imitators. Mukallid mean they also scholars, they also scholars, but they depend on an imam. For example, say Imam Shafi Rahmatullah was a mujtahid. Imam Shafi Rahmatullah had many students. They don't do any jitihad, but they studied from Shafi Rahmatullah and they teach Shafi Rahmatullah's fatwas. So those people we call mukallid. They don't do any effort. Okay, but mukallid is not in your syllabus, but understand the meaning, just imitators. Defamation or slandering. That is another word also there for defamation. You can say slandering, right? Slandering. That means finding false accusation against a chastity woman. That means a Muslim woman, right? False allegation you are putting, right? That she has some kind of illegal relationship. But if we bring a false allegation, or it can be an allegation against a woman based on their chastity, we have to bring 4 witnesses. We have to bring 4 witnesses to Kali. If we don't bring 4 witnesses, if we just take the allegation to the court, I will be given 80 lashes. I will be given 80 lashes. That is we call defamation punishment. If I take just an allegation to the court without 4 witnesses, 4 eyewitness, I will be given punishment 80 lashes. So fabricated hadith we call hadith maudu. Sometimes they use English word false hadith also. Right. Now next one, Nisma Nazir. You can unmute and ask the question.
Salam, sir.
Alaikum salam. Yeah.
Sir, can you explain the 4 factors which can harm Iman and the types of kufr and grief?
What are the factors affect the Iman?
Yeah, harm which can harm Iman.
That means you are talking about shirk, kufr, those things.
Yes.
Okay, shirk, kufr, and riddat. Yeah, that's what else?
And who is a murtad and what are the duties done towards him or her?
What are the duties?
To be done.
To be done for who? Riddat.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Riddat, murtad all comes under same category. I'll explain. But riddat, I can explain. I remember. Okay. Go. That's
And what should be a goal of a Muslim regarding this worldly life?
Worldly life.
Yes.
Role of a Muslim. Role of a Muslim.
And what are the conditions for a marriage to be valid and aims of marriage in views of Sharia?
Condition of marriage. Condition of marriage, aims of marriage, no?
And what is talaq raji and talaq ba'in?
Is talaq raja'i, talaq ba'in, no, I explained talaq raja'i and talaq ba'in. Okay, that's all. Oh,
yes,
okay. That's it. Right. So talaq. So I'll start with the shirk. These are factors affect Iman. Factors affect Iman. The shirk, I can remember shirk also, I just explained. Shirk means associating partner with Allah, right? And shirk can be divided into two types. Shirk can be divided into two types. One is shirkul akbar, shirkul asghar. Shirkul akbar means as worshipping idols, worshipping statues, we can call shirkul akbar. Shirkul asghar means reading horoscope, black magic, annihilation, we can say shirkul asghar. These are the two types of shirk. Okay, the person who performs shirk we call mushrik, and the second one is a kufr. Kufr means rejecting Islam, or rejecting, simply we can say not believing in any 6 articles of Iman, or rejecting one of the 6 articles of Iman, or any 6 of all the 6 articles of Iman we call kufr. The person who performs this kufr we call kafir, right? The kufr can be taken place 3 ways. I already explained: kufr through belief, kufr through speech, kufr through action. So anything, if you don't believe in one of the article of Iman, we call it a belief one. If we review something, for example, finding the fault shortcomings, or finding faults from Allah's qudrat or Allah's sifat, we call it through kufr through speech. Kufr through action means tearing the pages of the Quran or burning the pages of the Quran. Action wise, we are rejecting Islam, right? That is we call kufr. And the ilhad is atheism. Atheism in the sense, what is ilhad mean? Believing in no God. Believing in no God. At least shirk, kufr, riddat, all something they go away from Islam and they believe in something else. But in ilhad, they don't believe in any gods. That is we call ilhad. The person who perform ilhad we call mulhid, right? The person who perform ilhad we call mulhid, right? And riddat means fending away from Islam. That means renouncing, going to another religion, right? Rejecting Islam and going to another religion. That is also we call riddat. The person who perform riddat we call murtad, right? The person who perform this one we call murtad. Rasulullah's period, the people who believe in Musaylama, they all consider as a murtad, because they believed in not in last prophethood. They believed in Musaylama as a prophet, no? So automatically they consider as a murtad. And according to Sharia, what is a murtad solution? Those who converted to another religion, if it is Islamic Sharia is implemented in a country, first of all, that particular person should be separated from the family, or the family member should be separated from him. So the talaq should be given, because he is not a Muslim, right? And if they slaughter any animals, we can't have it. We can't consume from him, because he is not a Muslim. And if he is in Islamic state, he will be given a death sentence. And after the death sentence, even his body should not be buried in the Muslim burial ground. These are the Sharia laws on murtad. Okay. Right. And the role of a Muslim in this life, right? Worldly life, role of a Muslim in this life. I have a question, because there are multiple topics here comes under role of a Muslim, whether you're asking on the perspective of worldly life or role of a Muslim in this world. According to Al-Quran, there are major 3 roles and 3 responsibilities are there. One is ibadat, second one is imarat, and the third one is khilafat. There are 3 responsibilities. One is ibadat, second is imarat. Imarat means enrichment of the world. Third one is a khilafat, as a representative of Allah, obeying Allah's rules and regulation, right? Okay. Conditions of marriage. There are 3 conditions of marriage. Number 1 is bride and bridegroom. So very important. Sometimes they call arcans of marriage also correct. Conditions of marriage also correct. There are 4 conditions. Sorry. Number 1 is bride and bridegroom. Right? Bride and bridegroom should be Muslim. They should be adult. They should have the age of tamyiz. Right? They should not be insane people. Okay. These are bride and bridegroom. Number 2, wali. Wali means the guardian of the bride. Guardian of the bride. Guardian of the bride should be always from the father's side. Father or father's brother's children. Likewise, all fathers only should be there. Father's relationships, priority should be given. And the third one is shahid. Shahid means witness. There should be 2 witnesses. One witness from the bride side, another witness from the bridegroom side. Okay. And the fourth one, ijab and kabul. Ijab means declaration. Declaration will be given by father, the guardian, wali, right? Kabul will be acceptance. Kabul is acceptance, accepted by bridegroom. So these are the conditions of marriage. Aims of marriage. What are the aims of marriage according to Islamic Sharia? Number 1, very important thing, it's an ibadah, right? It's an ibadah, and because Rasulullah said, Sunnah is my way. Marriage is my Sunnah. Marriage is my Sunnah. Those who neglect my Sunnah, they are not one of my ummah. One of my ummah. So it's a kind of Rasulullah highly recommended Sunnah. Number one. Number two, it will protect us from the sins. It will protect us from the sins, for example, prostitution, falling haram activities after the marriage. So the marriage will protect us from the sins. Okay. Number three, it's one of the part of completing Islam. Rasulullah said, marriage is complete 50% of Islam. You're completing 50% of Islam. So balance 50%, you have to be pious. So that means marrying is, if you marry someone, it equal that 50% of Islam is completed. Third one. And the fourth one, producing good family generation, family members, or generation, right? Good children and constructive family setup. So the marriage will create a constructive family setup. If there's no marriage, there will be prostitution will be increasing, and there will be street children. There is no father for them. Oh, very difficult, right? So if marriage will allow to have a constructive, a structured family, right? Well-structured family system. And the last one, fifth one, you can say, through marriage, we can generate, right? We can establish a well-committed and structured generation and society. So family setup, after that a community setup. And right, the last one, talaq raja'i and talaq ba'in. Talaq raja'i mean revocable talaq. Revocable talaq mean we can return, we can cancel the marriage and we can get wife back. After pronouncing first talaq and after pronouncing second talaq, we call it talaq raja'i. Right? Talaq ba'in. Oh, talaq ba'in in the sense, talaq ba'inatul kubra. It's a major separation. After pronouncing the third talaq, it will be considered as a talaq ba'inatul kubra, a major separation. Major separation. Again, he can't get her back. Irrevocable talaq. This is we call it in English word irrevocable talaq. If he wants to marry her, she has to marry another one. And after that, first talaq, second talaq, third talaq should be pronounced, and only he can marry. Right? All right. Now who is there in the list? Umar Khattab. Wow, Umar radiallahu anhu's name. Umar Khattab, you can unmute and talk. Ask your question. Oh, you can unmute, yeah.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, yeah.
So what are the expected benefits of trade when it is performed adhering to the Islamic principles?
I didn't get it, your question. I didn't get it. Again, repeat it.
What are the expected benefits of a trade when it is performed adhering to the Islamic principle?
You're asking the benefits of trade?
Yeah.
If you adhere into the Islamic principles?
Yeah.
Okay. Benefits of trades, right?
Yeah.
Only this is the question?
No, sir. What are the two evidences to demonstrate that zakah is a social obligation?
What are the
proofs?
What are the proofs?
To demonstrate that zakah is a social obligation.
All right. Zakat is a social obligation. That's all?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, right. This first question is the benefit of trade in Islam if we follow the Sharia rules and regulation, right? Am I correct? That's the question, no? If you follow the Sharia conditions, they are cheat, we should not cheat. So what you can mention, we can avoid the haram activities, right? We can avoid haram transactions so that we can consume the haram. We can't consume the haram things. Because Al-Quran and Sunnah highly appreciated. If you consume haram, the body is not suitable to go to paradise, right? So when we are following the Sharia rules in the trade or whatever the transaction, for example, we should not attach to the unethical transaction. We should not involve in the transaction which is not benefited to the society. For example, the goods and services which is transferred, not benefited one to the society, right? And there are some haram means are there. So we should not involve in the haram means, interest, gambling, those transactions. So when we are not avoiding all these, immediately what is the benefit we get it? We will attach with the halal transaction. When we are attached with the halal transaction, there will be a possibility of, right? We will not fall into haram, number one. We can say we will not fall into the haram. Number two, when we are adding the following of the Islamic transaction rules and regulation, according to your second lesson you have studied, when we follow the Islamic Sharia law, that the transaction will be that muamalat will become as ibadat. Number two, right? So for example, 6 hours you are doing a business in the market, following all the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's method or Islamic methodology. Then that 5 hours or 6 hours you perform that transaction or business or working hours will be considered as a ibadat. Considered as a ibadat. And number three, right? And when you are performing trade according to the Sharia law, this is an obligation. You will be considered as a person who has committed an obligation. You will be considered as a person who has committed an obligation. And number four, you can say, Rasul Allah says in Quran, trading, you are earning something mean you are finding Allah's blessing. When you are seeking Allah's blessing, you have to find it in a halal way. So when you are following the Islamic ethics in the trade, automatically you are finding the Allah's blessing through halal way. So these are the benefits, some of the benefits I can remember. Right. Zakat is a social obligation, because this is not an individual's response, it's an individual's responsibility. Actually, end of the day, one person, the person who is eligible only going to give, but it's a social obligation, means there are two perspectives you can say. On whom we are going to perform this one, on whom we are going to apply this one, poor people. This amount 2.5% can be, for example, I'll take 2.5%. It belongs to the poor people. Belongs to poor people. As Allah says in Quran, some of the proof I'll say Quran and Hadith proofs only you have asked. Right? Al Quran says, "Khudhiz zakat." Take the zakat. Allah didn't say you people have to give zakat. Allah's ordered to the committee or the Khilafat rulers, you take the zakat from them, because that should be given to the poor people. The 2.5% is not belongs to that rich person. Haram, the 2.5%. So it should be given. And number two, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, until these people pay zakat, I declare a war against them. So that indicates that how important that zakat should be implemented. Zakat should be implemented. During Prophet's period, Rasulullah, zakat is collected as a collective way. For example, Zakat, Masjid al-Nabawi is the main center. The people who are eligible to Zakat, Rasulullah appointed people we call Amil. They go to the places, rich people's place, and they take the Zakat. They will say, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam commanded you to hand over the Zakat. They will not beg. They will ask the Zakat, you have to pay. Right? So if they don't pay, Rasul Sallallahu, because not paying Zakat, refusing Zakat as one of the farl mean, that also considered as a kufr. Right? So Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taken that zakat and distributed in a proper way to the poor people. By when we are doing this one only, because Islam says zakat is a poverty elimination project. Zakat is a poverty elimination, social development. So all the aims of the zakat, if you go through the aims of the zakat, end of the day, it will develop the society. It will change the mindset of the poor people. It will try to equalize the society. It will try to equalize the society. For that, you can give one Quranic verse, two hadiths, right? Or Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that incidents you can mention. And during Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu period, there was a wage war against one of the challenges Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu faced. He declared a wage war against the people who didn't pay zakat. So these all indicate zakat is a social obligation. Okay, right. Mehek, you can write. You can ask Mehek. So I don't delete this question, then you can understand what are the questions asked here. Okay, Mehek, you can ask the question. We are not hearing you. Mehek. Okay. Hafsa Harun, you can unmute and ask the question. Hafsa Harun, if you have a question, you can ask. Right, okay, I will move on to the next one. Senila. Senila, you can ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, yeah.
What are the steps for janaza prayers?
Janaza prayers, okay, janaza prayers, okay, that's all? Only one question?
Is piety and ikhlas same?
No, piety is we call taqwa. Ikhlas is pure intention or sincerity. Piety, or sometimes they use a fear of Allah. Pious, all same, taqwa.
Okay. What is the topic explained in Surah Kausar?
Surah Kausar.
Yeah.
These are not in the O-level syllabus actually. Why they ask this question? Where do you find this question, Kausar?
Actually, this is one of my questions, which I find in some paper. I can't
No,
exactly remember.
Okay, well, but in that Kausar, you're asking was one that is, tafsir question. These are Surah Al-Kausar. Okay, right? Okay, no problem. Yeah. What else? I'll just tell this answer. Kausar is the main topic of Kausar. It's talking about on the day of judgment where Allah is given to Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam a pond of water. Inna Artayna Kal Kausar. We have granted you a Kausar or immense reward, right? Fasalli Rabbika Wanhar. It's talking about prayers and slaughtering Qurban. Inna Shaniyaka Huwal Abtar. But it's always talk about Rasul. At the last verse, talk about you can't say Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam because Rasulullah has 3 sons. That's what this topic is, not Islamic topic. Okay, no problem. That's the main ideas. And there are many topics are talking about the Kausar. The important is starting about Rasulullah's pond of water on the day of judgment. How the Kausar will be given to Rasulullah to feed, to serve water to the Rasulullah's ummah. Okay. She asked another question, Janaza prayers duties. There are 4 duties of Janaza prayers. There are 4 duties of Janaza. Sorry, Janaza prayers, she asked. Okay, sorry. Duties of Janaza, there are 4. One is bathing the janaza, second is kafan, and third one is prayers, janaza prayers, and the fourth one is burial of janaza. So it comes to the janaza prayers, steps of janaza prayers, there are 4 takbir. There are 4 takbir in janaza prayers. Number 1, you have to have the intention. After that, have the takbir. After the takbir, you have to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. First takbir, after first takbir, Surah Al-Fatiha is a compulsory one. And after that, second takbir. After second takbir, reciting salawat. It's also faral. Salawat mean any salawat you can recite it. After third takbir, reciting dua for janaza. Right, asking dua for janaza. Number of dua Rasulullah taught us. And the last one, 4th takbir. After 4th takbir, Rasulullah used to give salam. Before salam, Rasulullah has recited one dua. Allahumma la tahrimna fi ajraha wa la taftina bi ba'da. Only remember the steps for the exams if they ask you. If they ask you how many farals in janaza prayers, remember 7. Sometime in MCQ, if they ask you how many farals in janaza prayers, 7. Okay, right. Hasna Ajmal, you can ask. Because there are more, around 40 people are waiting. Okay, yeah.
So, what is Qarad Hasani?
Yeah, Qarad Hasan mean loan. Qarad Hasan mean loan. Qarad Hasan. Without interest. Qarad Hasan mean without interest, giving a loan. Yeah.
What is Rila?
Rida means satisfaction of Allah. Normally they use the word Ridallah. Ridallah means satisfaction of Allah. Just Rila mean satisfaction what Allah has given to us. Having satisfaction what Allah has granted to us.
So, does ikhlas mean piety or purity, sir?
Ikhlas mean pure intention. Right? Pure intention. Piety, they use the word piety for taqwa. Pious or taqwa, they are using the word.
And sir, out of the Ummahatul Mu'minin, who had the long hand, literally, and who was known for giving sadaqah?
Zainab bin Jahash radiyallahu anha. But that Ummahatul Mu'minin topic is a whole syllabus topic. But remember that, no problem. Zainab bin Jahash radiyallahu anha.
And sir, what is Al-Fahsha and Al-Munkar?
Al-Fahsha wal Munkar. Al-Quran used this word for Salah, right? Al-Quran uses this one. If you pray, you can get the protection from Al-Fahsha and wal Munkar. The shameful activities and sinful activity. Remember that 2 words because one of the MC 2018 or 17, they asked this one. What is Al-Fahsha wal Munkar? Shameful activities and sinful activities.
Yes, sir. That's all.
Okay, right. And next one, Shafia.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yeah, okay. Ask your question.
What is meant by ismat?
Free from sin.
Then The difference between ifrad and tamatu.
Ifrad, and is that your question only? Ifrad mean these are intention for Hajj. These are intention for Hajj. If anyone have the intention only for performing Hajj, we call ifrad. We call it only for Hajj. We call ifrad. Tamattu mean performing Hajj separate intention and Umrah separate intention. That is we call tamattu. If you have the both equal same intention, right? If you have the intention for both together Hajj and Umrah, we call al-Qiran.
Okay.
That's all. Okay.
The Arabic word for abstinent.
Abstinent is wara'u, right? Abstinent means wara'u. Sometimes they use the word vigilant also correct. Huh? Vigilant also correct word. Abstinence also. Yeah, spellings are wrong here. Just I'm typing. Vigilant or abstinence are correct. Wara'u.
How can we tell shortly for Mi'raj?
Mi'raj mean the journey between Masjid al-Aqsa to heaven we call Mi'raj. The journey between Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa we call Isra. Okay.
Why was Ismail known as Jamiul Quran?
Because he compiled the Quran. He compiled in the sense by compiling the Quran, he united the Muslim Ummah on Quran. That's why he was known as Jamiul Quran. Huh?
And meaning for Tartibun Nuzul and Tartibut Tilawat.
Tartibun Nuzul mean order of revelation. According to the order of revelation, the first surah was Suratul Alaq. Tartibut Tilawat mean order of recitation. According to the order of recitation, first surah is Suratul Fatiha.
For good characters, what we call in Arabic?
Al-Akhlaq or Wasulu, Al-Akhlaq, As-Suluk, right? Al-Makarimul Akhlaq, Al-Khuluq, these are similar terms. Huh? Al-Akhlaq or Al-Khuluq, As-Suluk or Al-Makarimul Akhlaq, all correct answers. That's all right. Muhammad. Muhammad, you can unmute and ask. Muhammad is not there. Okay, Amzal Rosa. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. Yeah, go ahead. You ask your question.
And sir, what is mean by mahram?
Mahram mean one who is prohibited to marry. Mahrams.
Okay, sir.
Your mother, your sister, we can't marry, right? One who is prohibited to marry. That's all.
Sir, difference between
difference between
Hajj and Umrah.
Difference between Hajj and Umrah is staying at Arafah. Staying at Arafah is one of the main farl in Hajj, but in Umrah you don't want to stay in Arafah. So that is a main difference between Hajj and Umrah. Yeah. Oh, that's all. Okay, he has gone. Amzal Rozan, you can ask your question now. Amzal, yeah. Walaikum salam. Yeah.
Sir, can you say me the meanings of muamalat, munakahat, and jinayat?
Muamalat mean, actually muamalat simply here according to your syllabus, it comes under the transaction, right? Muamalat actually. Muamalat mean transaction. Islamic financial transaction we call muamalat. Munakahat is Islamic family life. Islamic family life we call munakahat. Jinayat is a crimes and punishment laws in Islam. Crimes and punishment, you know, the 40 lashes for consuming liquor, that's we call jinayat. The crimes and punishments are all syllabus topic, but simply understand. If you ask, I answer.
And so what is ma'rifah?
Ma'rifah means knowledge of Allah. As a person, we have to understand Allah. So ma'rifatullah, right? We're knowing about Allah.
So then what about sanad and matan? what are the differences and what are those?
Yeah, these are the two main features of the hadith. Hadith has major two features. One is sanad and another one is matan. Sanad or isnad, both are same. Sanad or isnad. Sanad also same. Sanad or isnad also correct. Isnad. That means reporters chain. Sanad or isnad mean reporters chain. Reporters chain. That means narrators chain. Ravi. We call Ravi is Arabic word Ravi. Also correct. Ravi mean the reporter. In a hadith, there are reporters. Reporters chain we call sanad. Right? Matan mean the content of hadith. They include the main idea of the hadith we call content. Right? Content of hadith we call matan. Yeah.
And so the last question is, what is covenant of Umar?
What?
Covenant of Umar. Covenant.
Covenant of Umar. What is the word you said? Wait. Tell me that spelling for a while. Covenant, right?
Yes, sir. Covenant. NANT. Sorry.
That covenant is actually covenant comes agreement. Covenant is agreement. Covenant of Umar
Yes.
radiallahu anhu. When during his Khilafat, he has gone to Masjid al-Aqsa, right? After, during Rasulullah's period was Masjid al-Aqsa was not under Muslims' control. It was under the Crusaders' control. So it was captured by Umar radiallahu anhu during his Khilafat. So during that time, he had an agreement with the people who belongs to Masjid al-Aqsa. Those days, those who agreed the church, right? That is the covenant of Umar radiallahu anhu. Umar radiallahu anhu's agreement to get the Masjid al-Aqsa back to Muslim.
Come on.
Yeah, that's all, Amzal.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
right. Jazakallah, barakallah fikum. Riyad Mehran. Riyad Mehraz. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. Yeah.
Can you explain who are Qadariya, Jabariya, and
Hola,
Mu'tazila?
hi.
Qadariya, right? Okay.
Yeah. And difference between Shia and Khawarij, and the difference between Zuhud and Rabbaniya.
Yeah. Khawarij, Zuhud, Rabbaniya. Rabbaniya or Rahbaniya?
Rahbaniya.
Rahbaniya. Or Rabb. H-O-B.
Rabb.
Right.
B.
Rabbaniya. I will tell Rahbaniya also. That's all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Qadariya, Jabariya, Murjiya. There are groups. Normally, the people who have different opinion on Kala Qadr, we call Qadariyas, right? Qadariya's main opinion is Kala Qadr has a freedom of choice or not. That means, man has freedom of choice or not. Okay. What is Jabariya's major opinion? Jabariya, Mu'tazilas, they all had the opinion. We don't have, human doesn't have any freedom of choice. Kala Qadr is decided everything, so we don't have any freedom of choice. So whatever we do, we are not responsible. That is Jabariya's opinion, Mu'tazila's opinion as well. And Murjiya's opinion is opposite to this one. They told, no, we have full freedom. They told, we have full freedom, so we will be questioned on the day of judgment. So remember that sometime they will ask on Kala Qadr, what are the major two opinions emerge in the history? One is a group of people argued that Jabariya and Mu'tazila's argument is what? Human doesn't have any freedom. We are not responsible for our deeds. Allah is responsible. Kala Qadr is responsible. Number two, Murjiya's opinion is what? We have full responsible. We will be questioned on the day of judgment. 100% full responsible. Right? That is Murjiya's opinion. So the people who have different opinion, Kala Qadr, simply generally they call the word Qadariya. Right? Shia means, who is Shia? Difference between Shia and Khawarij. Both are political parties actually. They emerged based on the political ideology. Shia's major opinion is what? The next Khilafat of Islam after Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam should be given to Ali radiallahu anhu, but it was taken by Khulafa al-Rashidin by forcefully. So about the leadership of Islam should be given Ali radiallahu anhu. So Abdullah ibn Sabah only started this campaign during Usman radiallahu anhu's period. That is their main ideology, Shia. Khawarij is They emerged during Ali radiallahu anhu's period. During Ali radiallahu anhu's period, there was a battle held between Ali radiallahu and Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. It's a civil war. In the battle only, end of the battle, there was around 302 people or 312 people from Ali radiallahu anhu, Ali radiallahu troop. They went away separately. Those people we called Khawarij. They went away and they said, Ali radiallahu is a kafir, Muawiyah radiallahu anhu kafir. Those who all involved in the battle of Siffin, all kafir. So their main ideology is takfir, making everyone kafir, except them, others are kafir. Takfir concept, right? There is a Khawarij. Simply, if they ask you what is the difference between Shia and Khawarij, or tell about the Shia and Khawarij, you can write Shias, the people who have the idea or ideology after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khilafah should be Ali radiallahu anhu. Khawarij, you can write the people who emerge after the Battle of Siffin. So this is what in 2019 also in the past paper they given the recommended answer. Right. Zuhud mean secluded life. Zuhud mean secluded life. That means there is a simple difference between Zuhud and Rahbaniya. Not Rabbaniya, this one. Rahbaniya. What is Zuhud mean? Zuhud is allowed in Islam, highly recommended in Islam. That means you are involving in the worldly activities. Worldly, for example, you are in businesses activity, you have the friends, you can marry, you can have the children, but you don't have the too much of attachment to the world. So there's another word for Zuhud, we can say detachment. Detachment, you know, what do you call that lotus leaf? If you drop the water, how it would be? There is a detachment, fella. It will be rolling over the leaf, but not merge with that. So in this world, we are living that, but we are not getting involved with the pleasure and we forget about Islam. We forget Akhirah life. So Zuhud is simply, you can understand detachment or secluded life. But Rahmaniya is neglecting 100% all the worldly pleasures, right? Not at all involving in the worldly activities, earning, marriage, anything. That is we call Rahmani, like, you know, Christian fathers, not marriage, 100% avoiding the worldly life. That is not allowed in Islam. That is we call Rahbaniya. Rabbaniya is one of the quality pious person should have, always having a thought of Allah is observing me. It's his highest level of spirituality, Rabbaniya. Okay, right. Okay, Ruzaik. Ruzaik, you can ask the question. Sorry, Rukai or Ruzaik? Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam. You can ask.
Can I get a summary on Zakah and Mahram?
Zakat and Mahram.
Yeah, Mahram, the examples with the examples.
Okay, Zakat.
And
Okay.
Wasiyat.
You want Zakat the entire topic, or is there any specific area?
No, entire topic.
Okay. Wasiyat, that's all.
Wasiyat, then Warasat.
Warasat.
Punishment systems in Islam.
Actually, that punishment system in Islam, it's not in your new syllabus, but I will just point out. Huh?
Okay.
Not in the new syllabus.
Sadaqatul Fitra.
Zakatul Fitra.
Khulafa Rashidu.
Why your school they didn't teach all this? You are going to list out all the syllabus topics. Zakatul Fitra. Because, you know, only 2 hours we allocated for this. Because tomorrow you all have exam, right? Zakatul Fitra and what else? Last one you said Zakatul Fitra. After that,
Khulafa Rashidin.
Khulafa Rashidin. You asking me for Khulafa Rashidin? Huh? You know that if I explain the Khulafa Rashidin alone, it will take 1 hour. Because, you know, I have to go in a little faster, and within 5 minutes I have to tell that. Because this is not syllabus discussion, theory discussion, only question and answer. Wow, Khulafa Rashidin, my goodness. Even Zakat itself, you know, sometimes I teach for 2 hours Zakat.
And the polygamy. What is meant by polygamy?
Yeah, polygamy definition only, because that is also all syllabus. New syllabus, it's not there. Just I can say polygamy mean having more than one wife at a time. That's we call polygamy. Islam allowed. That's all.
That's it.
No, that's almost there. All the syllabus titles are there. MashaAllah. Great. You would have asked this question at the beginning, then I could have ended the session after answering all these questions. Children, because almost, many areas I have touched. There are many people have raised the hand. Okay. No, I can't go in detail because this is not the right time to explain everything. I'll just touch on the points with the key areas. So zakat, that is a big area. Zakat is a purification of assets. Actually, zakat is a third pillar of Islam. After this, only Saum comes. It's obligated in Hijri second. Hijri second, and you had to understand. Okay. You have to understand what are the main points under the zakat. You have to note it down. On the benefits of zakat, actually, the general benefits of zakat you have to understand. Hold on. Rather than I will just show you all, then you can, if you want, you can take the screenshot. Because I have the zakat modules are there in the point form. That's why I'm saying, wait. The benefits of zakat, simply it's a poverty elimination according to Islam. Zakat, we know that it's a poverty elimination of Islamic Sharia. It's an economic development as well. Economic development as well. 1 minute. Okay, wait. Right. You let me know. Wait a minute. I'll just, if I stop the screen, I can't see all these things. No? I can remember. No, Wasiya, Warasat, crimes, Zakatul Fitr, Khulafa Rashid. Right. Okay. No, just no problem. I'll just tell. Don't hang. Little bit more. I will tell you. Right. Right. The first point, you have to understand the benefits of zakat. So what is zakat? It's a purification according to Al-Quran. Nearly more than 16 places Al-Quran mentions zakat and salah together. Zakat and salah together, Al-Quran mentioned. So it shows that how important that, right? And Quranic verses, you can mention that about the zakat. And what is the main important? Zakat will purify that particular person's mind, and zakat will purify the poor people actually. At the same time, zakat will purify the assets as well. The 2.5% is given away. And when we are giving the zakat, it will be, when a person gives zakat, it shows that he is showing the gratitude for that Allah has given him, whatever the Allah has given. So how to show the gratitude? By giving the zakat. So by giving zakat, it will help us to develop a mutual love toward the poor people and the social responsibility. As I said, it's the poverty elimination, and it will be develop the society, right? So income inequality will be reduced by giving the zakat. And very important thing you have to understand, zakat is a collective effort. Why it's a collective effort? Because there are benefits of the collective distribution, and you can say the self-dignity of the poor people are protected, right? And no rich people can escape from this zakat when it's conducted as a zakat, the collective decision. And definitely attention can be paid to the community welfare projects also. Right. So when the mosque community should take the responsibility of distributing the zakat as a collective responsibility. Zakat has major two farals, right? Like fasting, zakat also has a two farals. One is keeping niyat, and the other one is giving to the entitled person, those who are eligible, that 8 groups of people. Who are those people? 8 groups of people? Fakir, right? The poorest person with no income, and the miskin, the person who has income but not enough to run the life. And amil, the people who are collecting the zakat and calculating the zakat. And mu'allafatul qulub, those who are accepted Islam or new converts, or those who are attached to Islam. A riqab is slave, those who with the title, right? Condition, on condition. Al-qarimun, those who are in debt. And fi sabilillah, those who are in the way of Allah. Ibn Sabil, those who are in the journey, which journey is accepted by Islam, right? And the condition, zakat, major condition, remember that apart from Muslim being free, everything, but major two condition, remember these one. Ownership is also there, but nisab and haul. Nisab mean a minimum amount required for a zakat to give away. And number two, at 1 year completion. 1 year completion is very important thing, right? And there are people, those who are not eligible to receive zakat. Already that question has come. I have answered that one, right? And the commodities, the articles on which zakat is important, I will tell the nisab also together. And the goat, 40 cattle, right? 40 goats are there. I mean, you have to give 1 2 years old she goat should be given. 30 bulls mean you have to give one bull should be given, that is 1 year old. Suppose if it's a 40 bulls mean one cow which has 2 years old. 5 camels is nisab is 5 camels. If you have 5 camels, you have to give 1 god. And the gold's nisab is very famous, 10.5% or 85 grams is the minimum required amount to give as zakat. If you have such amount, you have to give 2.5%, right? And the silver also, 595 grams is the nisab amount to give 2.5%. And grains or cereals, wheat, dates, whatever, fruits items or harvest products, agriculture products, nisab is 1379 kilogram, 1379 kilogram with husk. Then you have to give 5% of your harvest if you have a cost of irrigation, or else if you don't have the cost of irrigation, you have to give 10% of the harvest immediately after the harvest. And treasure and the harvest products, agriculture products only, 1 year completion is not there, right? Once you received, you have to give zakat. 20% of zakat should be given. And money, commodities or trade items, everything should be given equal to 85 gram gold's value or 10.5% pounds gold value equal to that money's nisab amount. Then you have to give 2.5%, right? So here I have made it very fast about this zakat. So the thing, remember, understand points you have to understand under zakat. Who are the eligible people to receive zakat? Who are the not eligible to receive zakat? And importance of zakat or benefits of zakat. And zakat, why we have to give as a collective way. And last one, the nisab amounts of zakat, right? And mahrams. Mahrams are the people who are not people who are prohibited to marry. The mahram is divided into 2 types: temporary mahram and permanent mahram. Temporary mahram's example, wife, sister, a non-Muslim woman, and other's wife. Okay, third talaq, pronounced divorced lady. So these all consider as a temporary mahram. And permanent mahram, those who are permanent mahram, there are 3 types of permanent mahram: through breastfeeding, through marriage relationship, through blood relations. So examples you have studied, mother, father, sister, all comes under through blood relation, permanent mahram. Through marriage, wife's mother, right? Wife's mother comes under the permanent mahram through marriage relationship. Breastfeeding, the one who breastfed will become a mother and their children will become the sister. Through that, everyone will become mahram. So permanent mahram. And the wasiyat. And wasiyat and warasat, did I say that wasiyat, warasat I told, right? Wasiyat is after the death of a person, the entire assets, sorry, warasat. Warasat is after the death of a person, the assets will be considered as a warasat. Then it should be distributed according to the Al-Quran and Sunnah, that warasas. The knowledge of warasat we call ilmul fara'il or ilmul miras. What is wasiyat mean? Before the death, if a person writes some last will, remember the word last will, right? Wasiyat mean last will, writing it and distributing the assets before the death. We call it wasiyat. The crimes and punishment, this is an old syllabus, new syllabus, it's not there, but just I'll tell all the crimes. 40 lashes, I told this one also. No? 40 lashes will be given to the person who consumes liquor. 80 lashes will be given to the person who has defamated or slandering. And 100 lashes will be given to the person who prostitute if he is not married. And the death sentence will be given by stoning a person who prostitute if he is a married person. And death sentence will be given to the 2 person murtad, convert to another religion, and the murderer. And the theft, cutting the hand, that's a punishment. Zakatul Fitr will be given end of Ramadan. Actually the first Shawwal of the crescent, actually not the festival day. Before festival day, that Maghrib time is the most suitable time, but on the beginning of the Ramadan also you can give Zakatul Fitr. The purpose of giving Zakatul Fitr, 2 reasons Rasulullah said. One is the small mistakes which held during the Ramadan will be forgiven, and the poor people also should celebrate the festival with like others. So Zakatul Fitr should be given to the poor people, 2.5 kilograms according to Sri Lanka per head. Polygamy is marriage, so polygamy is a kind of a system Islam permitted. A man having more than one wife at a time, maximum 4 can have. Islam has given the permission for the polygamy. Polyandry means a woman having more than one husband at a time, that is prohibited in Islam. Khulafa Rashidin, I'm not going in detail about Khulafa Rashidin, I'm just telling the 1 or 2 services those Khulafa Rashidin. Khulafa Rashidin, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, the first person who ruled 2.5 years, and the major challenges he faced the false prophets, and after that he compiled the Quran, and next wage war against the people who neglect to pay zakat, and the battles against the Roman. And he appointed the governors, right governors during his period. Only 2.5 years he ruled. After the Khilaf, after his Khilafat, end of his period during his Sakrat situation, he appointed Umar radiallahu anh as a Khalifa directly, right? So he accepted Khilafat for 10 years. He ruled because he accepted without any problem. So he could be able to do many changes in the Islamic Khilafat. So he is the person who expanded the Khilafat out of Arabia. Persia was captured, and Syria was captured. Many places comes under Islam. And administrative system, very important thing. Umar radiallahu anhu's period, administrative systems are highlighted, right? Diwanul Barid, postal department was started. Diwanul Rasail, official letters department started. Katibud Diwan, chief secretary system started. Whatever I'm telling at this moment, you can't absorb and you can't memorize it. So all these are in your textbook. Whatever I'm telling, you can find it. It's there in the textbook, right? Katibul Diwan and Katibul Diwan, the Ahdad. Ahdad mean the police officers were appointed, and number of administrative judiciary council was separated, independently performed, and Qadi system was introduced, judge appointed. And during his Khilafat only the first time the Hijri calendar was introduced, right? And administrative forces, army forces were introduced during his Khilafat. There are many, but few only I told, right? And next, he appointed 6 Sahabas, asked them to find out, asked them to appoint, discuss and appoint the one Khalifa. So this is the one of his method, what he did. So the 6 Khalifas to discuss together, and they have selected Usman radiallahu anh as the 3rd Khalifa. So Usman radiallahu anh was the Khalifa who ruled more years, 12 years, right? So first 6 years was very smooth and calm, he ruled. After that 6 years, turmoil problems started, that the Abdullah ibn Sabah's opinion has come out. The campaign started, next Khilafat, why they didn't give to Ali radiallahu anh after Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. Still they are not giving to Ali radiallahu anh. The problem demonstrate and kept on going on. So the major important things in during his Khilafat, you can find out 2. Number 1, Quran compilation, Jamiul Quran. He compiled the Quran based on the Quraysh Arabic language, because the people were reciting different languages, right? So Hudayfat al-Yamani radiallahu anh was the Sahabi who identified the mistake and advised to Usman radiallahu anh to compile the Quran. So 8 copies were compiled and distributed to the 8 governors. After that, he was the first Khalifa who established the naval force under the leadership of Muawiyah radiallahu anh. So end of the Khilafat, he also was assassinated. The next Khalifa, Ali radiallahu anh. So during Ali radiallahu anh's period, 6 years only he ruled. He also faced many problems, and major contribution. He contributed to the language. Arabic grammar was compiled during his period only. Under his supervision, Imam Abul Hasan ad-Duwali rahmatullah was the person who contributed to the Arabic grammar. And the Battle of Siffin, Jamal, were a remarkable battle during Ali radiallahu anh's period. These were the first civil wars. Jamal between Ali radiallahu anh and Aisha radiallahu anh. Between Muawiyah radiallahu anh and Ali radiallahu anh, Siffin battle. After the Siffin battle, only Khawarij formed, right? And he also was assassinated by Abdurrahman ibn Muljim, one of the Khawarij fellow. And Ali radiallahu anh's period, a number of knowledge contributions have held, and some of the places were expanded during Ali radiallahu anh's period. Okay, so altogether 30 years of ruling Khulafa al-Rashidin comes to an end, Hijri 40th. Hijri 40th. Right, children, I'm just asking you all, do you all still have questions? Okay, we'll ask Shazna Munawar, because tomorrow you all have to study. I don't think it will go till 12 o'clock, I guess. Shazna Munawar, because almost I have touched every areas, the questions, if you go through almost many areas. Shazna Munawar, if you have a question, apart from this topic, whatever I answer, don't ask again. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam.
Sir, can you explain what is meant by Rila?
Rida means satisfaction. Satisfaction, we have to have what Allah has given. This question once the boy asked, yeah.
That's it, sir.
How
This I
you?
was, yeah.
Okay, everything fine. Barakallah feekum, mashallah. That's great. No, just I'm asking. Now I can just unmute. Everyone will be. Still, you all have question, right? Okay, I'll just go faster. Fatima Aisha Haris. Fatima Aisha Haris.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, sir.
Alaikum Assalam.
Sir, what is the reason to consider hadith as a source of law?
Hadith as a source of law, because Al-Quran mention everything in brief, but Rasulullah's Sunnah is explained in detail. So hadith, without hadith, we can't understand Al-Quran. So that is one of the reason. Another reason you can say Al-Quran mention we have to obey Allah and obey Rasulullah. So that it shows that we have to consider Rasulullah's Sunnah also source of Islamic law, hadith, right? And another thing is what some of the things are not mentioned in the Quran. Rasulullah's Sunnah only explained. So Rasulullah's Sunnah should be considered as a source of Islamic law. Yeah, you have another question. That's all okay. Right. Zina Tamal. Zina Tamal. Yeah.
Sir, Assalamualaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam.
Why a Muslim must eat only halal things?
Is it your syllabus question or your question?
My question.
You are this time O-level students, right?
Yeah.
Why
And
a
I
Muslim? First of all, you have to understand it's Al-Quran and Sunnah's order. Yeah, it's Al-Quran and Sunnah's order. You can mention Al-Quran, Hadith, the statements you can mention. Because, you know, if we consume haram, we are not eligible to go to paradise. That is a simple answer. Yeah. What else? Other question? What is the other question?
in which the Islamic empire was spread during the period of Khalifa Usman.
Sorry, I didn't get again.
Countries in which the Islamic empire was spread during the period of Khalifa Usman.
Armenia, Azerbaijan, those countries. Yeah.
And benefits of polygamy.
That's what polygamy is not in your syllabus. They won't ask, don't worry. That's an old syllabus question. I think you can find it in the past papers before 2015, I guess, or else model papers before 2015 published. It's what they won't ask. They will ask sometime the meaning. Polygamies are not there in your new syllabus. Don't study them, waste of time.
Okay, Jazakallah, sir.
That's all, no? Yeah. Right. Just I can tell one or two points because she asked the question of general knowledge even. Because, you know, one of the main reason polygamy, for example, that means polygamy means more than one wife marrying at the same time. Polygamy reason, first of all, rather than the benefit reason, you can say, if wife has a disabled or else permanent disease person, or she can't give the childbirth, then he, with the permission of wife, he can go for another marriage. The benefit is what? We can give the life to the widows, right? And by giving the life, we can look after the poor peoples also. Marrying a poor person or widows only. Highly recommended polygamy should go for a poor people and those who cannot be able to marry, right? And the widows, right? Those things only benefit. Yeah, some Mariam. Some Mariam only then no ask, no? Some Mariam, you can ask.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
So what is a statement recited by Prophet Ibrahim alayhis salam when he was thrown into
Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil.
Okay, sir. So can you explain Al-Ahad, Qiyas and Tahsir, crimes of punishment?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. The crimes and punishments are not in your new syllabus. Where did you find that question? Or where did you find that from the textbook? You can tell me, because Ahad, Al-Had, Al-Hudud, Al-Ta'zir, these are all syllabus topic. Don't worry, they won't ask that. That is crimes and punishments are all syllabus. All syllabus. New syllabus, it's not there.
Okay, sir. Jazakallah.
Okay. All right. Next one, Sumaya Rajabdeen.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam. Yeah.
I have a question.
The poet of Jahiliyyah who admitted his inability when he heard the verses of the Quran and stopped composing poems. There are 4 options given here.
Yeah.
Imraul Qais, Darba, Antara and Labid. Who is that?
What's the last one you said?
Labid.
Labib. Read the question again.
The
Jahiliyyah.
poet of Jahiliyyah who admitted his inability when he heard the verses of the Quran and stopped composing poems.
Not Imraul Qais, he was not there during Prophet's period. Read the second and third answer.
Darba, Antara.
No, not that one. I think Labib, I think. The last one, I guess. But I have a small, little bit doubt. Little bit doubt.
Okay. And there is
That's all.
another question was, it is mentioned the Persian wife of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is Mariatul Kibtiya, but the name is not mentioned in the list of wives of Prophet.
Yeah,
So
because
is
you
there
know.
any other name for her specially?
Yeah. Mariatul Kibtiya was Rasulullah's wife only. But she was the last person Rasulullah got married. She was a gifted slave to Rasulullah by a king of Egypt. She was a gifted slave. So that's what she was not included there. But she also a wife, Mariatul Kibtiya. From her only, Rasulullah got a child called Ibrahim. But Ibrahim also passed away at the beginning of 2-3 years also. He passed away. She was a slave. She was a slave. Gifted by king of Egypt. That's why it's not there in the list. Mariatul Kibtiya.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, next one. Hafsa Ajmal.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
So, what are the other names for Yawmul Qiyamah?
Yawmul Qiyamah, Yawmuddin, Yawmul Ba'is, right? Yawmul Hisab, Yawmul Akhirah. Okay.
What are the books that mention about the early settlements of Muslim in Sri Lanka?
Ajaibul Hind, written by Ibn Sahrayar. Futuhul Buldan, written by Al-Baladuri.
Okay,
Ajaibul. Okay, right. Muharram, you can.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yeah.
There's like 8 questions, short you can say. 30 days idda you said after divorce. In that, is it between 1, 2 and 3 or after 1, 2 and 3?
I didn't get it, sorry.
The 30 days idda bit after divorce you said, is it
No,
between
not 30 days, not 30 days. 3 months.
3 months. Then is it between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 or after?
No. It depends. For example, first talaq. Suppose say first talaq is mentioned mean 3 month idda period. In that 3 month idda period, suppose husband mind changed, he can cancel the marriage. Okay, he can cancel.
Yes.
For example, say 3 months going to be finished, another 10 more days. But because of the wife's activity, he changed the mind and he cancelled. That is we call talaq raja, revocable talaq. After first talaq, right? Now cancel. Now the first chance is finished. After they go together and they have started the life again. After 2-3 months, say after 6 months, again the problem started. Now he is going to pronounce what is the talaq number? Second talaq. After second talaq, also she has to observe 3 month idda period. That idda period also, if he want, he can cancel it. He can cancel it. Suppose say he didn't cancel, right? 3 months completed. Now she will be considered as a divorced woman. Now he can't revoke. If he wants to marry, he can go for a new agreement and marry. That is the method. Huh?
And then the prophets who received mentioned in Quran. The prophets who
Musa
received
alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam. Suhufi Ibrahim wa Musa. You hear this one always. Musa alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam.
This is an act mentioned in Quran which was prescribed upon those before you.
Fasting.
Arabic word that denotes worldly life is bound to end.
Darul Fana. It's a worldly life. Here you are asking. This is one of the Google sheet.
Yes, some I'm not sure because the explanation parts.
You want explanation because
Yeah.
that Google sheet is given by me, right?
Yeah.
Answer options are there, right? You want to answer only the meaning explanation. Darul Fana is the worldly life, Darul Baqa is the Akhirah life.
And the Prophet said the scale would be high for a mu'min in the day of judgment.
The good quality is akhlaq.
In a mujtahid, when they make a wrong decision, why they get rewards? Like
one reward.
Why, sir?
You want a reason? Because of the effort. Rasulullah said, if he find the solution, correct solution, reward, 2 rewards will be given. If he come to the wrong decision, for his effort, Allah will give 1 reward. For the effort, for the
judge?
effort. Huh?
For a judge, a regular judge?
That means I didn't get it.
No, not a mujtahid, but like a government judge, like.
No. This is for mujtahid, not judge.
Okay, so then judge will get punishment then.
I have no idea. No, judge mean, there is another question also I have given in my model paper, I guess. There are 3 types of judges, right? There are 3 types of judges, Rasulullah said. 2 parties will go to, 1 person will go to paradise, the other party will go to hell. The person who investigate properly and give the solution, final decision, will go to paradise. The person who never investigate properly and give the wrong decision will go to hell. The judge is not a punishment, directly hellfire, if they don't give the proper decision.
Yeah, third one.
Third one also, one of the category falls in the hellfire, but I forgot what kind of investigation they do. Truly, I forgot. One person, he properly investigate. Another 2 people, they don't properly investigate. So one of the investigation is what? Not inquiring the witness. Right? Not inquiring the witness properly. But the third one, I forgot. That also wrong method. So those 2 will go to hellfire. 1 will go to paradise. Now this question I have given one of my Google sheet. I can't remember which one.
So this one, and the last one, in Ibadah, you have given in question number 32, among these groups of people who are not eligible to receive zakat, in those 4 options are those who are moderately poor, those with sufficient income, those with manageable income, and those unwilling to pay debts.
Those who sufficient
Why not the
income?
4th one? Unwilling.
Fourth
Unwilling
one,
means
they are eligible to give zakat. No, they are eligible to give zakat. No, the question is not eligible. No. Is it?
No.
Question is not eligible.
Unwilling to pay debts, right?
Unwilling to mean actually they wanted to pay. That unwilling mean they are not be able to pay.
Okay.
Maybe you understood that they are adamantly not going to pay. Actually what is meant is unable to pay. Actually, that word should be changed. The second one is the answer.
Okay, sir. Jazakallah.
Okay, right. Barakallah. Atiyab, right.
Excuse me, sir. Assalamu
alaikum. Yeah.
Sir, in Sri Lanka, who was the authority on matters related to Waqf?
Waqf board.
Okay, sir. What are the 2 types of foundations in economic policy?
What are the 2 types of?
Foundations in economic policy.
2 types of foundation in just economic policy or Islamic economic policy? What is it?
Islamic economic policy, sir.
2 types of foundation Islamic policy. No, that question is confusing now. They ask 2 types. So, what are the common things?
2 types.
Islamic economic policy, there are not like the types, no. Only is it from the past paper you found it?
No, sir. It has been given in 3rd term test in our school.
2 types of maybe economic policy. They meant, I think, the theoretical perspective and practical perspective. That's what they asked that. Yeah. But in O level, they don't confuse such a way. Yeah. Don't worry. They will directly ask you, mention 2 factors which is related to the foundation. The foundation related to the theory. In Islamic economic policy, there are major 2 areas. One is foundation related to theory. Another one is foundation related to practice. So they have asked you, what are the basic foundation for Islamic economic system? The foundations related to theory, foundation related to practice. Okay, those things only I think they ask. Yeah, foundation related to theory, foundation related to practice. Under each there are 5. Under each there are 5. Okay, go on.
So what is the stone which Ibrahim alayhi salam stood up during the reconstruction of the Kaaba?
What is what?
What is the stone which Ibrahim alayhi salam stood up during the reconstruction of the Kaaba?
Maqamul Ibrahim. So that means he stand on, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
Maqamul Ibrahim.
what is Arkanul Qiyas?
Qiyas, there are Arkanul Qiyas, there are 4 Arkans. Al-Asl, Al-Fara'u, Al-Hukum, Al-Illat. I explained, right? Al-Asl, basic problem, resolved problem in the Quran. Al-Hukum, Al-Fara'u is the new problem. Al-Illat is the reasoning. Al-Hukum is the solution.
Oh, sir. So last question, the patriotism means?
Patriotism, right? Patriotism in Tamil they call Tesapattu. That's the English word. Huh? Patriotism means that Tesapattu, you know, love towards your country. That is we call patriotism.
Okay, sir.
Okay, right. Barakallahu fikum. Amna.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam. Yeah.
Sir, what is mean by human rights according to Islam?
Human rights. Human rights mean what? You're asking human rights, right?
Yeah, the definition.
How human rights definition they won't ask you. Human rights mean there are rights, for example, is according to Islam, there are some rights given by Islam, right to live, right, a right to accumulate your wealth, right to speech, freedom of expression. There are some basic things we have, you know. For example, now you are learning, right to learn also one of the rights. And according to Islam, right to express your idea, right to select your religion. They would ask you what is human rights, and they will ask you mention 2 or 3 human rights in Islam: right to live, right to select your religion, right to accumulate your wealth, right to live. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you explain the theoretical part of the Islamic perspective of economy?
Theoretical perspective, there are 5, but I will just tell 2 or 3, yeah, because these are big topics now. One is Islam says all the resources are belongs to Allah. That is a theoretical relation foundation. Huh? All the resources belongs to Allah. And another one we can say wealth is a test of Allah. And there is a share to the society from the wealthy people, right? From the wealthy people, there is a portion, we call it zakat, no? And man will be questioned on the day of judgment. So I told 4 points. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Wealth
Sir,
is test of Allah. Yeah.
Can you give a small summary about moderation?
Moderation means al-wasatiyya. Arabic term is al-wasatiyya, maintaining moderation in 2 extremes, right? In 2 extremes, we are maintaining moderation. For example, worldly life and akhirah life, we are giving them equally. We have to balance this. That means we should not neglect the akhirah life and we should not neglect the worldly life also. In a moderate way, we have to live our life. Example. Another example we can say, in our ibadat also, we should not go to extreme level. In a moderated way, we have to go for the ibadat, right? And religious activities also, we should not go to the extreme level. Moderation mean there are 2 extreme. No? For example, fully occupied with the ibadat and omitting the worldly life also, extremism, it's not allowed. Another thing is fully avoided the Islam and the ibadat, everything, and committed to the worldly life. That also not allowed. Both are 2 extreme. Without the 2 extreme, we have to go for a moderated way, neutral way, because Al-Quran, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, our ummat is a moderated ummat.
Sir, I have a last question. Can you explain the agriculture part of the economy?
Agriculture part of economy, if you want to write, you can mention according to Al-Quran and Sunnah, that is the oldest format of business, right? Oldest, very oldest method, because Adam alayhi salam was the farmer. The agriculture done by who did Adam alayhi salam? Adam alayhi salam only did it. Under the agriculture, we can take it, there are 2 major portions. One is planting the crops, right? Planting crops, so the agriculture directly crops. And second one is the animal husbandry. Okay, cattle, these 2 comes under the agriculture. So Al-Quran highly mentioned about that planting trees. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, whoever plants a tree and diligently looks after it until it matures and becomes, the people give it the benefit of the fruits. That's a reward. So agriculture is one of the remarkable things compared to any other thing. It's one of the point of imarat, prosperity of the world, right?
Jazakallah.
Okay, barakallah. Right. Next one, Zumri. Zumri, you can unmute and ask. Islam.
So what is Darul Fana?
Darul Fana means the worldly life which will destroy. The worldly life, nature of worldly life will be end. As we call Darul Fana.
So can you explain Jahiliya period?
Jahiliya period. Jahiliya period, you're asking everything, our social setup, family setup, behavioral setup, everything. Yeah. Jahiliya period, focus these key points. The borders of Jahiliya, Arabia during the Jahiliya period, and behaviors of Jahiliya period. Some of the behaviors are highly recommended: hospitality, bravery, and they keep the promises. If they give promise, they keep the promise. These are one of the good qualities of Jahiliya period. And the family setup of Jahiliya period, there was not a particular family setup. They had a system called Nikah Mutua. Nikah Mutua means temporary marriage, but Islam highly appreciated Nikah Salih, permanent marriage. And the Jahiliya period, unlimited polygamy was practiced. That means unlimited polygamy mean more than many people, and the prostitution was a common trend, and there is no rights were given to the women. And the wife of Jahiliya period's wife's responsibility, woman's responsibility is only taking the waters, bringing the firewoods, looking after the family, satisfying the husband. Okay, they were treated like a slaves. They were not given the warasat also, no any asset proportions given to them. And Jahiliya period religion, they had the belief in that 360 statue, and they believed in Allah, but they don't worship Allah, right? And they had the Kaabatullah's tawaf is there. They do tawaf without dress, that is we call naked tawaf. So there is not a particular system. But during Jahiliya period, there were people called Hanifs, right? Those who did associate partner with Allah. They didn't associate partner with Allah. We call Hanifs, and that is Jahiliya. This one religion. And Jahiliya's social setup is a tribal setup, right? Tribal. They love their tribe. Because of that, we call it tribalism. They love their tribe because of the Arabic term we call al-asabiyya, tribalism. Those who their poets were given prominent place for them because they are writing poems, and the best poems will be hanging in the Kabatullah. Those poems will be called as al-mu'allakat. Okay. Right. Khalilur Rahman. Have any question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What is reason to oppose the dawah of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam by Quraysh?
At the beginning itself, I told this question. Were you not there during when I was explaining?
No, sir. I came at 8:30.
Said. Okay. Number one, first reason, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam preached against their traditional ideology. First reason, because Rasulullah said that you can't worship these 360 statues, right? That's what the traditional things Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam opposed. Number one. And the number two, if the people accepted Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, finally Rasulullah can take the leadership of Makkah. So they don't want to sacrifice that. That's what they opposed Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they torture, they punished the people who accept Islam. And the third one, they didn't. Why they oppose? If they accept Islam, they have to stop all the activities they are doing, worshipping statues, consuming liquor, gambling, prostitution. Those are the reason why they wanted to oppose, or they opposed Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Reason for Battle of Yamama. Reason for Battle of
Yamama, the false prophet, the people, they accepted Musaylama as a prophet, they converted as Murtad. So that Abu Bakr declared the war.
What is mean by fasad?
Fasad mean making turmoil situation in the world. Fasad. Making problem. Ilhad mean atheism, believing in no God. Atheism.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, barakallah fikum. The next one is Zamra Nazim. Zamra Nazim, you can unmute and ask if you have a question.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
So I need Aqaba agreement 1.
When I was explaining Aqaba agreement, were you not there?
Yeah, I was not there.
Oh, okay. What
1,
else?
2,
Hmm.
Hudaybiyah, and Zakat Nisab.
I explained zakat just now.
No, it means I'm having a question. A person had 7 lakhs of rupees in his possession. The
Okay.
nisab for zakat in the year was 600,000. If he has loan of 1 lakhs of rupees to be paid, the zakat that should be paid by him at the end of the year is 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, 15,000. If I get
No,
a
you have
question
to.
like that, how to answer?
Yeah, you have to answer how much was there? 750,000. The nisab amount is 600,000, right?
Yeah.
Nisab is 600. Minimum amount to be given zakat 600,000. So he has more than 600,000, but he has a loan of 100,000, right? So that 100,000 should be deducted from the total amount. How much? 750,000. So balance how much?
No, it's 7 lakhs. That means 600,000.
600,000. So the balance also 600,000. So after deducting the loan amount, still it's reached the nisab or not? Still reach or not? Minimum amount, how much zakat? 600,000. Yeah. So now calculate 600,000 because that's 600,000 after deduction. Huh? After deduction, 600,000 into 2.5%. And multiply and say 2.5%. How much will come? 2.5%. If you multiply it for 600,000, you'll get 15,000.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the answer.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now the Hudaybiyah also I explained, Aqaba also I explained 4 conditions of Hudaybiyah, Aqaba. Aqaba Treaty, I'll just brief it. I'm not going in detail. Aqaba Treaty 1 was held in Nubuwat 11th. Aqaba Treaty 2nd was held in Hijr Nubuwat 13. In first Aqaba agreement, 12 members of Medina people participated. And the second one, 72 people participated. After this Aqaba Treaty only, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam decided to migrate to Medina. Right, so the Aqaba Treaty between Rasulullah and people of Medina was held. That is held in Makkah. Hudaybiyah Hijri 6 was signed. There are 4 conditions between Muslims and the Quraysh. Number 1 is there will be no war for 10 years. So the ceasefire. And number 2, this year they can't enter to the Makkah. And next year onward they can enter to Makkah for Umrah performance. But 3 days only they can stay in Makkah. The third condition, if anyone come from Makkah to Medina, should be sent back to Makkah. But if anyone come from Medina to Makkah, the Quraysh will not send back to Medina. The last one is any tribes they can join with Rasulullah or Quraysh in agreement. So those who are joining in agreement, they all can consider under this Hudaybiyah Treaty agreement. Okay, right. Shamir Shiano, you can ask.
What is mean by Hizbul Fulul?
Hizbul Fudul is a social organization foundation, social organization found by Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam during Jahiliyyah period. That's all. You are on mute. You're on mute. Unmute and ask. Shamir.
Yes, sir. That's all.
Okay, Azra Al Shafi, you can ask the question.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Sir, can I know like a small brief explanation on Risalat and Hidayat?
Risalat and Hidayat.
Yeah.
Risalat, simply we can say divine guidance through wahi given to the prophets and Rasuls by Allah. Okay. Hidayat is the right path a person gets. There is a connection between Risalat and Hidayat. So Allah wanted to give the Hidayat to the people, but Allah cannot give the Hidayat directly. So what Allah did, Allah given the guidelines through wahi to the prophets and Rasuls, right? Through Jibreel alayhi salam. So that wahi we call Risalat. So the book, for example, Al-Quran is a Risalat. And Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam preached that Risalat to the people. and the people got the right path, we call that is hidayat. Okay.
Sir, another question. What is meant by the word Salihin Amal?
Salihul Amal or Salihin. Amalus Salih.
So
Amalus
in the
Salih
book,
mean, yeah.
Salihin Amal.
Salihin Amala.
Yeah.
Actually, the Amalus Salih maybe, yeah. Salihul Amalu, Amalus Salih. There are two meanings. One is a good deed. Amalus Salih or Salihul Amal, we call good deed. Or else there is another meaning also they have given, the right deed at the time. At this time, what is the correct deed you have to do? So both are there. Good deed or the right deed should be performed at that time. That's all. Who answered now? Ashra Al-Safir. Husni Hashi. Now again, I'm going upwards. Okay, Husni Hashim, you have any question?
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam, yeah.
What is the definition of nisab?
Nisab is the minimum required amount to give zakat.
And what is tawakkul?
Entrusting on Allah.
Okay, sir. Jazakallah khair, sir.
Okay, barakallah. And next one, Muhammad WIC. Who is WIC? Yeah, you can unmute and ask. He's not responding. Muhammad Wazma Rizvi.
So, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, yeah.
So, Islamic transaction
Yeah.
and musharaka, mudaraba,
Yeah.
types of battles and the reasons of battles.
So you want me to explain the Musharaka Mudaraba, right?
Yes, sir.
The battles reason you don't want to study, that's not there in your new syllabus. It's a whole syllabus one. They won't ask. They won't ask. Only I will tell because that is a big part of the history, but it's not there in the new syllabus. Battles of reason. I will tell the battles which held in which year. Battle of Badr, Hijri 2nd. Battle of Uhud, Hijri 3rd. Right? Battle of Khandak or Battle of Ahzab, both are same. Battle of Khandak and Battle of Ahzab, both are same, held in Hijri 5th. After that, Hijri 6th Hudaybiyah Treaty was signed. Hijri 7th, Battle of Khaybar against Jews was held. And Hijri 8th Hudaybiyah, victory of Makkah. Hijri 9th, Battle of Tabuk. Right? So these are the battles year. Even sometime only they will ask. The battles are not in your new syllabus. And according to her question, Musharaka Mudaraba. Musharaka is a partnership business where more than two people engage in the business. They are investing and engage in the business. According to their capital ratio, they will share the profit and loss. The people who invest the profit, invest the capital. At the same time, they also can engage in the business. But the Mudaraba, also there are more than two people or more than two parties here, more than two types of people. For example, it can be 3 and 5. A group of people invest money, a group of people engage business. In Musharaka, those who invest the money can engage in the business. But in Mudaraba, a set of people invest the money, a set of people do the business. So the people who invested, they should not engage in the business. So one party provide the capital, the other party provide their effort and the business. This is we call Mudaraba. Okay, right. Fatima Wasma Zulayha.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
Sir, what is the difference between Ahlul Bayt and Ahlul Kitab?
Ahlul Bayt mean Rasulullah's family members. Ahlul Kitab is the people who were given books. Books mean, Tawrat, Injil, Zabur. Ahlul Kitab.
And the next one is the hadith that draws the connection between fasting and good physical health.
Hadith
that draws the connection between fasting and good physical health.
You're asking a hadith regarding that?
Yeah.
About fasting, first of all, after that, good health, right?
Yeah. Fasting and good health.
Okay. You're asking a hadith together for both or separately?
Yeah, together for both.
That means fasting, which is encourage the good health. You're asking one hadith for that?
Yeah.
For both together you're asking. That's what I'm confusing.
I found that question in supports question papers, Western Province.
It's not a problem, but Rasulullah's hadith together, when did Rasulullah mention about hadith and thinking of a hadith? Just for a hadith about fasting can say, but it's related to good health and thinking of hadith. Give me a minute. Because about there are many rewards Rasulullah mentioned. So it's talking about a one hadith. You want to tell that it's fasting which provide the good health.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, I have no idea because in the textbooks also I have already can remember the hadith. They mention about only the rewards of fasting, but the good health generally they mention, but Rasulullah's hadith about the fasting about the good health. Sorry, ma, I have no idea about that.
Next is name the two types of fur with an example each.
Which one? Which one? Two
types of fur with an example each.
Farla Ain and Farla Kifaya. Farla Ain, 5-time prayers, fasting in the month of Ramadan, zakat. These are Farla Ain. That means individually you have to do. Farla Kifaya mean a collective ibadat. A group of society performed. Rest of the society will be forgiven. Example, janaza prayers, producing doctors and alims.
Okay, so Jazakallah.
Okay, and Fatima Farah. You can unmute and ask Fatima Farah. Yeah.
Can I know the benefits of Kalak?
Benefits of
Kalakadar? Yes.
You're from Oasis
What
International?
are the benefits? No, sir.
Okay. Benefits of Kalakadar, right?
Yes.
Number one, you can say that means believe in Kalakadar. No benefits of believe in Kalakadar. We will be patient and we will not disappoint anything happen in our life since we believe in Kalakadar, and we will accept whatever happen in our life. So the rida, satisfaction of Allah's Kalakadar, whatever happens, right? Three I said, patience. During the disappointment, we can be console our mindset, and third one I said what? Satisfaction, whatever Allah has given. And very important thing, bravery, right? Any situation during the dangerousness, we can say, if Allah decided my ruh will be taken, no worries. So they will be very bravery, and they can live a life peacefully because anything happen, they always trust. Okay, according to Kalakadar, it's okay, fine.
And can I know the term meaning of Ilmul Miras and Ilmul Fara'il?
Both are same. Ilmul Miras and Ilmul Fara'il, both are same meaning. Both are same knowledge of what is that Ilmul Fara'il and Ilmul Miras mean, and knowledge of how to distribute the warasat.
Okay, sir.
Okay. That's all. All right. Ruqayya Mufazzar. Yeah. Unmute and ask. Ruqayya Mufazzar. Okay, she's not there, I guess. And Fatima Ruqayya Feroz. You can unmute and talk.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Sir, reason for Umayyad losing their strength?
The Umayyad Khilafat is the old syllabus. But many students are asking the old syllabus. I don't know which textbooks you are using. But Umayyad, Abbasiyya, Khilafat are old syllabus. They will not ask the question. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Mujtahid mean what, sir?
Mujtahid.
Mujtahid.
Mujizat. Mujizat means miracles given to the prophets and Rasuls. Miracles given to prophets and Rasuls. That's all. No questions? Fatma Ruqayya Feroz.
Early statement of Muslim in Sri Lanka.
Early settlement of Muslim in Sri Lanka, is it? Huh? Early settlement, no? Your question. Early settlement. Oh, yeah, early settlement in Sri Lanka is a very well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Hamdani Razak. Hamdani Razak.
Sir, I have
Yeah.
another question.
Sorry. Okay. Ask the question. Yeah. Okay. Ask. So.
Hello.
Yeah. Ask.
So shall I ask?
Yeah.
Incident that took place during Umayyad period of Islamic Caliphate.
Yeah, that's what I said. Umayyad Khilafat is not in your syllabus. It's a old syllabus. They won't ask question. Don't worry.
Yeah, sir. I got this question in my third term examination, sir.
What is the textbook you are
Last
using?
week.
Who is the
Siddhi
author?
Kadir. Siddhi Kadir, sir.
But the Siddhi Kadir is also, that syllabus is not there in a new syllabus book. You're asking an incident in Umayyad Khilafat?
Yes.
That means, what is the incident? There are many. Which incidents you're asking?
Islamic Caliphate, Umayyad period, sir.
Yeah.
During Umayyad period of Islamic Caliphate.
Yeah.
They have
Tell
asked.
me, what is the full
Still,
question?
I
Tell me
didn't
the
get
question.
an answer for that, sir.
What is the full question? Tell me.
Describe briefly 5 important incidents that took place during Umayyad period of Islamic Caliphate.
My God, you must understand that is not in your syllabus. No, I can tell 5 incidents, not only 5 incidents, more incidents about Umayyad Khilafat, but it's a waste of time for O level now because it's not in the syllabus. I don't know Siddhi Kadir's which edition you are using. The Siddhi Kadir's book, new edition, there is no Umayyad Khilafat. Abbasiya Umayyad Khilafat is not there. Don't study. That is waste of time actually. Don't worry.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
If they ask that question, I will take the responsibility. Well, it's not there. 100%. You can see any model paper, Western Points paper. It will not be there. Right? Okay, don't worry.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Hamdani Razik. Okay, you can ask the question.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
So my question is, what is hukukullah and what is hukukul ibadah?
Hukukullah mean their activities which related to man and Allah. Hukukullah, right? So there are some hukuk mean the rights, actual rights we have to give to Allah. What are the rights we have to give to Allah? For example, praying 5 times, asking dua, reciting Quran. So these activities are related to me and Allah, man to Allah. This is we call hukukullah. Hukukul ibad mean some activities are there, a man to man related. For example, if you take a loan, you have to settle the loan. This is hukukul ibad. You can't backbite a person. You can't scold a person. You can't hurt someone. Right? You have to respect your parents. You have to respect your elders. These are hukukul ibad, the activities which related to man to man. That's all.
No, sir. And I have another question.
Yeah.
It is better that I die to make Islam live rather than I live.
Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal Rahmatullah statement. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal Rahmatullah statement. Huh?
And so my third question is, which Imam who presented Aqidah Ahlul Sunnah in very comprehensive
Imam
way?
Abul Hasan al-Ashari Rahmatullah.
Thank you, sir. That's a class.
Okay. Right. Next one, Anas Nazar. Anas Nazar. Anas Nazar, you can ask your question. Yeah.
The connection between Iman and Amal.
Iman and Amal cannot be separable. Yeah, that is a connection. We can't separate it. Yeah. That's all.
Ijtihad mean what?
Ijtihad mean finding a solution for a new problem which is not in the Quran and Sunnah by putting an effort. It's ijtihad.
That's all, sir.
That's all. Okay. Minha Zaid.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, yeah.
Sir, what is the importance of studying the prophetic history?
You also joined late. All right. I explained this. One person asked. Number one, Rasulullah was the last prophet, so we have to learn, because till day of judgment, Rasulullah's life is the only authentic life to follow, right? So number one, Rasulullah was the last prophet. We have to learn. Number two, we can find the role model from Rasulullah's life. For everyone have a role model. As a student, we have role model. As a teacher, we have role model. As a father, we have role model. As a husband, we have role model. So there are many role model exemplary behaviors in Rasulullah's life. That's what we have to learn. Number three, Rasulullah's biography is protected and preserved authentically. So we can learn. We have to learn something, right? And number four, you can say number of scholars and in different languages, different religion people have analyzed Rasulullah's biography. What else?
Okay, sir.
Okay, right. Zumri, I have, remember you have asked the question already, right? We will go to another person. Muhammad MHMD. Muhammad MHMD. Yeah, ask. Your voice is not clear. Still, I can't hear you.
So,
sir. Now you can ask.
Sir, who done black magic on Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam fall on stick like?
You're asking the person who has done.
Where's the Jew?
Was a Jew, but
Yeah.
I can't
Who's
remember the name. Yeah, I can't remember. I truly forgot because around last 4 years there were no related question that way. I forgot the name actually. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Okay, sorry. Yeah, that is the only question you have.
Imams?
Mujtahid Imams, you can say the fiqh Imams, all Mujtahid Imam Shafi, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Imam Malik rahimahumullah. All four Mujtahid Imams. The people who involved in the fiqh field. Huh? Okay, Barakallah. Amina Shafi, next one. Okay, Barakallah. Amina Shafi.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, could you please explain me the method of Hajj and Umrah in short?
Okay. That's all. Only one question.
And what is called sabab? There is something called sabab reason.
Sababun Nuzul. Oh, what?
No, sir, sabab regarding Kala.
Asbab, sabab, just sabab, reasons. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's
That's
all. Only
it, sir.
two. Okay. The sabab actually, Islam highly recommended, even though whatever is allocated by Allah and Rasul, we have to take the reasons, For example, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, if Rasulullah want to go to Medina, Rasulullah knows if Rasulullah will be protected or not. But Rasulullah depend on some people to get the help, That is, we have to accept the reasons. For example, say you want to eat something, but you are not going to go out to buy the food. What you are saying the reason? Kala Qadr is there, and already Kala Qadr Allah decided what I will eat. This is wrong. We have to follow the sabab. What is the sabab? You have to put an effort to find the food. You have to go out and buy the food. So this is we call, so we have to consider the factors around us, reasons. Okay. Hajj and Umrah, I'll just brief it and I don't go in detail. The major difference between Hajj and Umrah is Arafah. In Umrah, we are not performing Arafah, but normally Hajj only they ask. Major farals are intention with the ihram and the tawaful ifada and running between Safa and Marwa, we call it Sa'i, and staying at Arafah, and after that shaving your head, and last one is the order. So these are the farals of Hajj, and some of the wajibs are there. If you miss one of the faral, Hajj is not accepted. Wajib, if you miss, no problem, you can continue, but you have to give kafara. Example for wajib of Hajj, staying in Mina and Muzdalifah, and Tawaful Vida, performing Tawaful Vida is a wajib, and having intention in Miqat. Muslims are in Sri Lankan Muslims, they are having the intention in Yalamlam. So these are considered as a wajib, some of the examples of wajib. It's just, throwing stones in 3 jamarats also wajib. And there are some nullified activities also there. Covering the head for male, covering the face for woman, sexual intercourse, and having the marriage agreement, using the filthy words, right? Applying oil, perfumes, and these are nullified activities of Hajj. And there are 3 methods of intention: Ifrad, Kiran, Tamattu. You can understand those stuff. I didn't go in detail because that's a big topic, huh? Right.
Okay, so Jazakallah.
Barakallah fikum. Because I'm also a little bit tired. In Shab, yeah, Insaf. Plan to finish it to 9 o'clock, but it has gone to 10 o'clock. Yeah, Insaf, ask, yeah.
So what is meant by Tartibun Nusul and Tartibun Tilawat?
Tartibun Nusul is order of revelation. Tartibun Tilawat is order of recitation.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Right, next one, Muhammad Sajuddin. Muhammad Sajuddin.
Assalamualaikum.
Islam, yeah.
Is ijtihad?
Ijtihad. Just now I explained ijtihad is finding the solution for a problem which is not in the Quran and Sunnah. Okay, that is ijtihad. Huh?
Kahul.
What? Kahul?
Oh. Khulu.
Hulu, right? Khulu. Hulu mean a wife divorce a husband. Wife seeking divorce from husband.
Muhaddis.
Muhaddis, the scholars who involved in the field of hadith.
Jabirat.
Jabirat is bandage.
Tazkiyatun nafs.
Purification of soul.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Muhammad Rizwan.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please briefly explain me Al-Ma'rifa and Al-Ridha?
Al-Ma'rifa means knowing about Allah. That is Al-Ma'rifa. Imam Ghazali Rahmatullah. So knowing about Allah is the one of the main characteristic you can get. Increase your iman, Ma'rifa. Knowing about Allah, study about Allah, read about Allah's qualification, everything. Right? And Ridha mean satisfaction actually. Whatever Allah has given to us, we have to have the satisfaction. Ridallah mean Allah's satisfaction over us. That's all.
Yeah, sir. Jazakallah.
Yeah, the next one, Muhammad MH, you asked the question, no? Zinat Yasir.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yeah, Islam.
So, what are the types of wahi?
Wahi matlu and wahi ghairi matlu.
And what is tazkiyah?
Purification of soul.
Give another name for sunnah. It's a revision question which you gave, sir.
Which I gave.
Yeah, sir.
What is another name for sunnah?
Yeah.
Hadith.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Next one, Ayub.
Sir, what is meant by Hanif, sir?
Hanif means those who not associate partner with Allah during Jahiliyyah period. No, those who didn't worship statues during Jahiliyyah period.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay, only that mark. Okay, Asjad Fazal. Asjad Fazal. He didn't raise the hand. Okay, right. So already the raise the hand students I have given, no? Rukaiya, Mufazzar, I gave the chance. You have any more question? Muhammad Rizwan.
Alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
I have sent through WhatsApp. Can you explain that?
Okay, right. You all said no, right? Inshallah. So others didn't raise the hand. So if you all have clarified this, put your hands down. So Jazakallah khair for joining now only 68 because now 10 o'clock. You had to study for another 1 or 2 hours only for self-study. Tomorrow you all have exam. All the best. Barakallah feekum. And what I felt is that the questions you all asking, some questions are very easy from the textbook question, right? Focus that one. All those questions are in the textbook only. You all didn't ask any question, mostly out of the topic. 99% you all asked from the textbook questions only, right? So please go through the textbook, study the textbook, even at least 89%, 90% will be textbook only. Part 2, 60 marks question, 100% from the textbook, right? And remember that 5 marks question answering method in my seminars also I told. 5 points with a small brief explanation. Don't forget to give that. 2-3 marks question you can mention straight away, but the 5 marks question, 5 points needed with a small explanation. All right. So I don't want to take much time from you all. Jazakallah khair. So all the very best. May Allah use your exams and the difficulties during the exams. All the best for all level exam. Okay. Inshallah. We'll meet in another occasion.